From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next.
A very good afternoon and welcome to talkSPORT Gold. It is brought to you by Final One Standing. It is new from William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. It's Wednesday, December the 3rd. It is just gone 7 o'clock. It is a busy night of Premier League football. We had 3 games last night, didn't we, in the Premier League? They were entertaining games of football. Plenty of goals at Craven Cottage. Man City at 1.51 up and absolutely cruising. Fulham getting it back to 5-4. Man City ending up winning. Newcastle 2, Spurs 2 and Everton picking up a really big victory away at Bournemouth. This evening in the Premier League, we've got 6 Premier League games for you. 4 starting at 7:30 and the other 2 at 8:15. Top of the table Arsenal looking to get back to winning ways this evening, entertaining a Brentford side who have had a good start to the season since losing their first ever Premier League meeting with Brentford in August 2021. Arsenal now unbeaten in their last 7 against the Bees. Brighton versus Aston Villa is 4th versus 5th. Brighton have won just 1 of their last 9 Premier League games against Aston Villa. Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Burnley starts in the evening in the bottom 3, 19th in the table. Burnley lost their last home game against Palace 2-0 in November 2023, but only once have they ever lost consecutively against the Eagles. Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. Wolves still searching for their first victory this season in the Premier League against a Forest team who are just outside the relegation zone in 16th place. Leeds versus Chelsea. Leeds 18th in the bottom 3. Chelsea 6 points behind. Top of the table, Arsenal. And Liverpool versus Sunderland. Liverpool looking to go back-to-back victories in the Premier League against the Sunderland side who have been the surprise package of this season's Premier League. Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 10 Premier League games against Sunderland. So 6 games, 4 at 7:30, the rest at 8:15. I'm your host, Sam Ellard. Delighted to say that CJ the Laguna is back with us, as is Abby Summers. Liverpool lost 9 and 12. And Ryan Bromolo went missing. Liverpool win on Sunday, and now he's decided to come back and offer me some support. Welcome back to talkSPORT Goals, Ryan.
That's convenient time and that, and don't have anyone else. Don't have anyone else saying otherwise. Just convenient time. Just how it works, lads.
You must have been losing your head.
Yeah, I think I was, to be fair, and I am glad that I wasn't on a few. Of
I wasn't.
shows.
I needed some help and support, and
especially the PSV Eindhoven game
this time last week, mate.
Because it felt like that 4th goal was quite significant, didn't it? In a number of ways. But a bit of a restructure and a change on Sunday might just have turned the corner a little bit. But we'll only see that over the next couple of weeks.
We will indeed. Liverpool, Sunderland, Leeds, Chelsea, 8:15 kickoff. So at 7:30 then, Arsenal versus Brentford. As a lot of teams are doing at this stage of the season. Lots of teams are resting, rotating, busy calendar, of course. Lots of games to be played in December. Arsenal have got Raya in goal. White comes in at right back. Mosquera, Hincapié, Calafiore. Odegaard starts for Arsenal, back and starts alongside Zubamendi and Rice. Madueke, Marino, Martinelli, the front 3. Brentford go with the back 5. Kelleher in goal. Coyote, Ayer, Vandenberg, Pinnock, Henry. And then in midfield, Yarmolenko, Janelt, Jensen, Utara and Sharda lead the line. So really interesting Brentford. There's no Igor, there's no Damsgaard and no Collins. I haven't heard the reasoning for those team changes, but almost, I don't know what you think, CJ. I'll just check the bench to see if those players are on the bench. I know that Igor Thiago is definitely on the bench for Brentford, as is Henderson, as is Damsgaard. Now, you could argue that and Nathan Collins well at centre-back. Like, I reckon they're probably their 4 most important players. I wonder, is part of Keith Andrews almost thinking, tough tonight, we might not win. I don't want my players to tire. Had a Spurs on Saturday. It feels strange.
It's a weird one, Sam, because it's a double-edged sword. It's like, both teams have played a lot of games. We are getting to that point of the season where you do have to rotate and be a bit cute and clever. So that's probably where Brentford's thinking is. You said back five, back three, however you want to call it. That's the stuff of nightmares as an Arsenal fan because, that's our kryptonite, trying to break that down. So it'd be an interesting one. For my team, we've made more changes than I thought we would have. It's interesting. Calafiori's actually playing because if he gets one more suspension, he's out of the Villa game. So I'm at the point, Sam. Honestly, today is just about 3 points. It doesn't have to be pretty. Lord knows it's not. Eze not starting is a bit of a shock. I'm happy to see Odegaard get some minutes. We're just going to have to get the job done, man. And as you lot probably all know, Brentford is one of those games where it's been quite dramatic as an Arsenal fan. It's the set piece derby. Dead balls are going to be central to it. So we need 3 points, man. The gap at the top's been cut. Get our 3 points. Let's keep it moving tonight.
So no Saka, no Eze.
Crazy.
Happy? You think it's crazy?
We have to.
They can't play every game, though, can they? They've got to break at some point.
You're right. And the one person I wish we could rest, but we obviously can't, is obviously Declan Rice because there's no one else. I'm sure Norgard would have been chomping at the bit to play. Yeah. Saka needs rest. Eze's played a lot of minutes owing to several players not being available. I'm happy to see both Madueke and Martinelli get some minutes, get some ring rust out, and hopefully they can start going, man, because we need our attackers, man. We've got a lot of football to be played.
A few days on from that Chelsea game,
man.
was that 2 points dropped?
I think it might be a point gained if I'm completely honest with you. Chelsea were blisteringly good. I have to shout out Maresca, the way they went man for man. They almost did us, if I'm completely honest. The best thing in the first half was the fact that they had a man sent off. I did feel it felt like the start of the season with Arsenal, like playing with a handbrake on and being a bit risk averse and things of that ilk. A draw is probably a fair result. We don't do well at the Bridge, really. I know we ain't lost since 2018, but the last 3 years have kind of had that similar stench. I'm quite angry with the Chelsea game. I think it is, for me as a fan, when I'm looking at it from an emotional point of view, Sam, it is 2 points dropped. But all things considered, really and truly, we should have lost. So I'll take the point and keep moving.
Okay, Arsenal-Brentford, 7:30 kickoff. Interesting, Abs, we saw...
I'm sorry, I'm just shocked. That was such a...
Oh, go on, Abby. Sorry.
I'm shocked because that was just such an honest assessment.
I'm always honest on this platform.
That wasn't remotely... It just didn't sound like you. It just didn't.
Which really doesn't sound like...
It just didn't sound like... It just didn't sound deluded. That was all. That was, spot on. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say, we saw also last night Man City win. In a remarkable game of football. I mean, City this season, so good offensively. Haaland obviously scoring the goals. Phil Foden playing a little bit more centrally. He's looking really, really good. I like seeing Phil Foden playing centrally for Manchester City. I love seeing him in those pockets. He's got such quick feet, technically so good. He was really good last night. So City offensively really good. I think defensively, conceding 6 goals against Fulham and Leeds, not ideal. Perhaps fortunate to win both games. But Abby, we've been doing lots of shows this season. And, lots of people, not just me and you, but people sat in these chairs have gone, Arsenal are going to run away with it. In February, March, it could be done. Look, they still might. But I guess, we're dropping points to Sunderland, dropping points to Chelsea, City winning a couple of games. Possibly City might be a bit closer than maybe some people think.
I think people probably did think City would be there or thereabouts. I'd be surprised if they didn't, especially when City tend to not hit their best version of themselves until kind of this period and after Christmas. They always
even later, to be fair.
Yeah, they always start the season relatively slow. I mean, there's been seasons where they've been 8 points behind and they've come up and won the league. So I never ever write City off. Defensively, they are a little bit all over the place. Like, I don't think that we can still this new version of City, which is obviously still kind of being developed, like with Pep this season, is very different to the old one. And I just think that you can get something out of Manchester City, like very easily now. I think
from a offensive point of view, they've got the ability to score 4s and 5s against teams, but they just don't have that control. They used to just pass teams to death, didn't they? They used to have 80% of possession, and you couldn't get the ball off them, let alone score.
But also, you had someone in Rodri that was there that could completely control it.
Yeah,
and equally on that as well, there's the new influence of Pep Lijnders who's coming as well into the back rooms. And it's sore wounds for us, but there is a sense that he will want to add a fresh lick of paint to that side over the last couple of years. That we played that way, and you've seen it with Liverpool this year. They've been found out at times trying to play a possession brand of football. They've been done in against sides that are physical, that are direct, that are good at set pieces. And ultimately, maybe he's thinking, I need to transition away from that style because it wasn't as effective as it was a couple of years ago, because teams are finding different routes to hurt us. Definitely. And they're making, the games far more equal. So he's probably still going through a transition himself. But when do you ever see City go from 5-1 up to 5-4?
Yeah, that was
that's
quite
an
uncharacteristic.
flip.
Arsenal Brentford 7:30. Brighton Villa's 4th versus 5th. Team news there. Brighton have got Verbruggen in goal. Vifa, Van Heck, Dunk, Hadigoglu the back four. Baleba, Gomez will sit. Minter, Gruder, Du Cooper, Simas the front four. For Villa, Martinez in goal. Cash, Konza, Torres, Mats in the back four. Kamara and Onana will sit. So there's no Tielemans. McGinn, Rodjan, Gessan and Ollie Watkins leads the line for Aston Villa, who have won 3 of their last 4 away league games against Brighton. Ryan, is 4th versus 5th. Can either of these two sides, you think, finish in the Champions League places this season?
Well, I suppose it all depends on how the so-called big guns ends, their respective campaigns, doesn't it? I mean, they slow and steady might just win the race this year. You might see, Arsenal a great example of that, just consistency, doing enough to win games, not making a big fuss about it. That ultimately might be the formula, because when you've got Liverpool, it's all over the place. When you've got City that are showing that vulnerability of last week, even Chelsea have got inconsistency in them, even though they seem to me the team that turns up most in the biggest of games. You saw that against Liverpool and equally on the weekend. So, I think there's definitely a shout that they could be in and around that conversation, but it does tend to be that those teams peter off towards the end, and the end in 6 and 7. That always tends to be the case. You might get a few outliers where they pop up into 5th or 4th, but
they normally fail at some point.
It always tends to.
You're right as well, because a couple of teams that have excelled, like you look at Bournemouth and Sunderland, like they're having a bit of a normalisation in terms of results, like a bit of a rough patch. So you're right, the teams that tend to,
Bournemouth haven't won in 5.
Exactly, which is unheard of, because if you say Bournemouth to the casual football fan, they've been doing a madness, like they've been great. This is where the season starts, man. From game week 10 and we're in game week 13 now, this is where it all starts.
You're still nervous though, aren't you, from an Arsenal perspective?
I'm nervous, I'm everything in between.
It reminds me of Liverpool last year. Everybody was saying to us in October, November, the league's done. You've got a big, pretty big gap, and you haven't really got the competition that are putting you under any real pressure. Do you not feel like there's similarities?
No, because the gap's been cut last night to 2 points. Obviously, God forbid, but if it goes left today and against Villa, then what are we going to say the next week I'm here? We just need to keep working, man. It's December.
But you don't think City, I look at City, for instance, against Newcastle. I thought it was really strange that they didn't win that game, for instance. Come back at the international break, opportunity to close the gap before, I think you played on the Sundays. Pretty sure that was the sequence of it. And then they lost at St James's Park. There's a few things where I think, where Arsenal last year, where, when Liverpool dropped points, they didn't capitalise. City similarly have done that. I just feel like there's similarities pretty much to last year.
As someone that's seen your team win the league, I hope you're right. But for me, we just need to keep working. And I've said this several times on this platform. For me, I think Arsenal's greatest enemy are themselves. I do think Arsenal fans need to calm down a bit. You're not going to win every game and take multiple points. But I do understand the frustrations with dropping points against you lot's club in Liverpool, obviously City, Sunderland and Chelsea. But I don't think a single team's going to run away with this. I genuinely think it's going down to the wire this season.
So there we go. Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Villa, Burnley, Palace, Wolves, Forest, the 7:30 kickoffs. Leeds, Chelsea, Liverpool, Sunderland, 8:15. The William Hill epic boost for the Arsenal game tonight is Declan Rice to score or assist. It was 5-4. It's now 2-1. Stake limit supply 18+. Gambleaware.org. A very good evening and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. Is brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. Terms and conditions apply. It's Sam Ellard, Abby Summers, CJ, the Deluded Gooner and Ryan Bromolo taking you through a busy night of Wednesday night Premier League football live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel and on your smart TVs. Liverpool-Sunderland is an 8:15 kickoff. Mo Salah is once again on the bench for Liverpool. It's the same team against West Ham, bar one change. Kirkes is out, Robertson is in. As for Chelsea, they make changes and lots of changes. Chalobah, Tosin, Badiashile and Cucurella the back four. Andre Santos will play in midfield alongside Fernandes. We'll get Ryan's thoughts on Liverpool before that. So again, the 7:30 games this evening are Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Villa, Burnley, Palace, Wolves, Nottingham Forest. But let's just, before we get into our 7:30 games kicking off in 12 minutes time, Abby, Newcastle 2, Spurs 2 was the result last night at St James's Park. So Spurs found themselves 11th in the table, haven't won in 5 league games. Was that, though, not a better performance, but a better result?
Definitely wasn't a better performance. But historically, we don't do very well at Newcastle anyway. So to go there and come away with a draw, not playing particularly well.
That's amazing. Newcastle away.
Exactly. If someone would have said
tough
to me,
place to go.
it's a very tough place to go, especially
Tougher to win.
on a cold Tuesday night.
You won there this season, didn't you?
Yeah, but
we won there this season.
Yeah.
Okay, great, cool.
And Gomez scored a last-minute goal,
Brilliant.
second game of the season.
Love that.
That feels like it was 3
Love
years
that.
ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
My team haven't won in 5. So I genuinely, any preview I've done this week, I expected Spurs to go there and get absolutely battered. I really did. So coming away with a 2-2 draw, not playing well, haven't seen an improvement, but I'll take it.
And Abby, the same conversation really has been happening over the last couple of days on social media regarding the manager, Thomas Frank. He's under lots of pressure. Like, from what I'm reading on social media, talking to friends, talking to people in the office, it feels as if, like, the vast majority of people want a change already. I mean, you've given your opinion on that. Do you think we're getting closer to the board making a decision or not?
I don't really know what this board does, because usually I think with Daniel Levy, if he was still there, it probably would have been done already.
You think?
If not, we would be teetering on the edge of it. But I don't know what this new board looks like.
Do you think Levy would have sacked Frank already?
I think Levy would probably...
14 games into a season?
Yeah, I've seen him. I mean, he sacked Nuno for less.
Spurs fans keep saying
Yeah.
it, to be fair.
Look, I want to just reiterate, I don't necessarily want to see Thomas Frank get sacked, because I do think he is a good manager. I would like to just re-emphasise that point. I just don't necessarily think he's the right man for Tottenham. But then if you were to ask me who is the right man for Tottenham, I wouldn't have the answer for you.
And that's where I think Thomas Frank deserves time to build and turn things around.
And if the board decide to say, well, tough, we're sticking with Thomas Frank, I'll also be fine with that, because I've seen what he's done at Brentford with player development. Do I think in January the board need to help him out? I definitely do. I think it is criminal that they never signed anyone to really replace Son in terms of a figure on that left-hand side, someone of real quality.
Did you go for Semenyo?
There's a lot of talk about Semenyo. I mean, whether or not he want to come is a different story.
Tell you what, given he's probably one of the best players, if he ends up at Spurs,
it'd be absolutely unbelievable.
We'd have him, wouldn't we?
It would be. I'm sure you would. Worry about your defence, all right? Enough.
We need another left winger.
It would be unbelievable if we could sign him, because I think he obviously elevates us immediately in those attacking areas. If you have a look at our highest goal scorers this season, it's come from our centre half.
But from a manager's perspective, when do you feel like you last got it right? Was it Pochettino?
Yeah.
So it's like, what does he bring that, I suppose was different to the others that have followed? Because it does feel like you've seen the same hallmarks. I mean, the Fulham game for me was a very sore one. The way they performed in that first half in particular, and the way they get blown away in the first 10 minutes as well. And Fulham, I'd have to look at the stats of this, but I'm pretty sure they don't travel that well either as well. They do struggle on the road at times. Fulham, certainly patches and seasons. But I thought, there was, games under Ange where you lost 2-0 at home to teams and the sort of lower reaches as well at home. So there seems to be that similarity. It doesn't matter what manager is in charge and is at the helm, there seems to be that reoccurrence of those types of results. So what do you think Pochettino did?
The difference with Pochettino was, first, he had a style of play that you can get behind as well. And again, the bar was very low. Before that, we'd had Tim Sherwood. Everyone strongly disliked Tim Sherwood. There were things that went in Pochettino's favour, and I'm like his biggest fan. I always call for having him back. But there was things that went in his favour. He had Harry Kane come through.
Delhi came to the club, didn't he?
£5 million. They bought Delhi. They just happened to stumble on one of, the most prominent great players of that time. You had one out of probably the 8 good players they invested the bail money into in Christian Eriksen, who was good. They had Jan Vertonghen, they had Hugo Lloris, they had Toby Alderweireld, they had Carl Walker. There was a lot of things that fell into place for Mauricio Pochettino. There was a lot of things that didn't fall into place for Pochettino. For example, spending 2 seasons away at Wembley, going a whole season without having any transfers. He earned the right to be backed, and he wasn't back sufficiently. 3 months after getting to a Champions League final, which in all honesty Spurs had absolutely no business being in. They were not particularly good that season either. You sack him, and 3 months after moving to a stadium. That's the last time I had a connection with a manager, because that's the last time I saw a consistent style of play and a manager that had belief and instilled something into a side. I saw it in flashes across Ange. I saw it in flashes maybe at times with Conte. Never fancied Jose for us one bit. But it's hard to buy into a manager when you don't like the style of play. And I think that's what Thomas Frank is up against.
Abs, just on the game last night, there's one big talking point that I think got lots of people surprised and angry on social media. The penalty that Newcastle scored, their second goal with them, whilst your performance was nowhere near good enough, as you rightly said. That was a bizarre decision, wasn't it? There was a coming together. Would you call it coming together between Bentancur and Byrne in the box?
Something we see every single game. I mean, Bentancur was just as much on Dan Burn as Dan Burn was just as much on Bentancur. At one point, Bentancur's arm is in Dan Burn's armpit. It's not a penalty. I don't know why that was given as a penalty. I feel like, what is the point of having VAR if you're going to then give decisions like that?
Well, the point of having VAR, isn't it, as we all know, is it's supposed to be there to eradicate the errors. Now, I have to say, I thought that was one of the worst bits of VAR intervention I've ever seen in the few years you've had VAR. Now, I'm actually somebody that from corners and set pieces, one thing that drives me absolutely insane is the shirt pull, the actual genuine shirt pulling that goes on, and the grappling and stuff, right? And I do believe that if referees and now VAR to help them out are consistent at penalising people for that, we would actually see it be quickly eradicated. Sam, 2 issues with this, Abby. That one there was not enough for it to be given as a penalty. And the biggest issue we've got with all of this, and it always is the C word, it's the consistency of it. You can get one shirt pull 1 week, then you have weeks, dozens of incidents where nothing gets done, right? They let it go. And then occasionally every 6 weeks, let's have a look at that one. If you're going to start giving shirt pulls, right, you've got to be consistent with it across every single weekend, not just pick and choose when you want to give a foul or a penalty. It's how they make it up as they go along. It's an absolute nonsense.
I think there's so many problems that the solutions are hard to come by. And for me, I mean, some of the things that
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think...
What's the problem here?
Well, in the sense of... There seems to be so many. So at the start of the season, there was an announcement from the Premier League that there was going to be an intense crackdown on.
They do this every single season.
Yeah, but on the likes of sustained holding, right?
Every year they say that, I swear.
Whoa, let me elevate my point. So the broader point is, right, that's what they mentioned. But I'd imagine if you spoke to most football fans, would they know that? I'm not sure they would, because that's just one of many, whether it's the handball rule, whether it's a penalty. The amount of times you'd be watching the game with pals or in the pub and you go, is that a penalty? Is it not a penalty? It can't quite work out. It was given last week. It wasn't given this week. So there's so many variations in that decision making. So I think you probably need to get either some consistency in the VAR room where you only have about 5 or 10 VARs that are just there for VAR, and they're very clear on what they're going to focus on, and they're going to prioritise what they're going to focus on, and just almost have a reset of what football fans should be looking out for, so you can have that consistency. Because right now you're interpreting rules from 10, 15 years ago of what was the case, and every football fan's sitting there thinking, is it a pen? Is it not a pen? Is that a handball?
But we see that every single week.
We see
that so many times.
We're going to have to break one more time very, very quickly, guys. We're going to carry on this conversation on the other side of the break, okay? You're listening to talkSPORT Goals. We're live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. One more very quick break, then the 7:30 games are underway in the Premier League. Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. It's brought to you by Final One Standing, which is new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Terms and conditions apply. It's a busy Premier League night of football on Wednesday, December the 3rd. We've got 4 games about to go underway at 7:30, 2 starting at 8:15. Arsenal, Brentford, Brighton, Villa, Burnley, Palace, Wolves, Forest at 7:30 kickoffs. Leeds, Chelsea, Liverpool, Sunderland get going at 8:15. The William Hill epic boost for the Arsenal game tonight. Declan Rice to score or assist. It was 5-4. It's now 2-1. Stake limit supply 18 plus. Gambleaware.org. And Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool all to win tonight is 11-4 with William Hill. That's been boosted from 5-2. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org. I'm your host Sam Ellard. Abby Summers, CJ Diduduguna, and Ryan Bromelo are alongside me until around 10:15 this evening. CJ, about to get underway. Just bring everyone up to date with the key Arsenal team news for this evening, please.
Obviously, Saka's been dropped to the bench. Odegaard's come into the side. Ben White's come in the place of Timber. Declan Rice is obviously starting, even though a lot of Arsenal fans wanted him rested. Games like this really test the depth that us Arsenal fans waffle about. If we talk about our depth, it's moments like this in the December calendar that they need to go and do their thing. Brentford is not going to be an easy test. We could be in here. We need those 3 points.
Yeah, you do. I mean, have you felt a slight shift in kind of, momentum maybe over the last few days with that point dropped and, City doing their piece of business, no?
No, I mean, like naturally, the table's going to fluctuate. Points gaps are going to fluctuate again. And I'm not being funny, but I'm speaking to Arsenal fans that are listening to this. Spurs fans like to tell us they're European champions. So we played the European champions, we played the world champions, and we played the Bundesliga champions, and we didn't lose. I know people, it's a bit upsetting dropping points against Sunderland and Chelsea and things like that, but we just need to keep going. The beautiful thing is, many Arsenal fans would say that was our poorest performance in a while, and the language and sentiment coming out of Chelsea is they were so amazing. Last time I checked, both teams shared a point. So even at our worst, we're still leaving with stuff.
One team was down to 10 men, the other wasn't.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Chelsea are world champions. They're a very good side. Like, as I said at the beginning of this, we were quite fortunate. Abby, what's all that about?
I just was responding back.
Yeah, that's cool. Caicedo shouldn't be kicking shins then, and he might have stayed on the pitch.
I agree.
Cucurella should have been hooked as well.
I genuinely believe that Chelsea would have won that game had Caicedo.
I mean, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
They ain't beaten us there since 2018.
CJ, talk to us about Saliba and Gabriel.
What do you want to know, apart from the fact that they're amazing?
Yeah,
world class.
No, just in the sense that they're both on the bench.
Yeah,
they're both on the bench
didn't last long
because
that,
they're not fit, right? They're not. They're both injured, and I don't know tell me on the Saliba timeline.
Saliba's an ankle injury. Arteta said he'd be out for a few weeks. I mean, I don't really.
How are you feeling about that in the sense of your replacements, obviously in Capier and Mosquera, and I think they're top replacements. Don't get me wrong. I think that in terms of the strength and depth of recent years, that's a brilliant. They're 2 brilliant deputies to call upon. But do you feel like there could be a drop-off based off the fact that you've got 2 of your linchpins of this side for the last couple of years?
I mean, to lose one of them is upsetting. To lose both is unthinkable. I feel sorry for Gabriel Magalhaes because obviously this is his second big injury of 2025. Obviously, with Saliba's injury, it's affected our build-up play, and I'm not cutting any excuses for my football team because I think despite all of the contexts, we could have done better at Stamford Bridge. But I do think when you haven't got your first-choice centre-half pairing, when you don't have an informed Trossard, when you've got Gyökeres in and out the side, I think that added into Mikel Arteta kind of being a bit conservative and risk-averse and kind of the language, if you can't win, don't necessarily lose. I love Mosquera. I think Hincapié is a warrior. I love the little handbags he got into at Stamford Bridge. But naturally, if you miss Saliba or Gabriel for a prolonged basis of time, we're going to struggle. And again, in Gabriel Magalhaes' case in particular, he's effective not just in defence, but as you've seen all season, in the final third for us from corners and set balls.
Do you think it'll make you more risk-averse over December?
It can't. I mean, naturally, yeah, but Arteta can't afford to do that. Again, one thing that annoyed me about the Chelsea game is it kind of felt like how I felt at the beginning of the season, when there was a sentiment around the handbrake being up. And I'm not necessarily saying it's wrong from Mikel Arteta, but I do believe attack is the best form of defence. I do think teams kind of over-respect us now and kind of retreat into their own half. And naturally, if we're conservative, you're going to invite teams further forward. That's obviously a recipe for disaster. We're going to have to box smart. I think every manager, not just Mikel Arteta, they're going to have to earn their wages in this December period. The games are coming thick and fast.
4 minutes in, Arsenal got their first corner. Declan Rice
there we have it.
Swinger, headed out to Madueke on the edge of the box. It comes back out to Gabriel Martinelli now down the right-hand side. It's a good tackle from Jensen. He wins the foul. He wins the free kick. 4 minutes gone then in our 7:30 games. Arsenal, as you would expect, dominating possession in the early proceedings.
Again, I didn't hear that.
Pardon?
I say that again, I didn't hear that.
I said Arsenal dominating the early proceedings.
Okay, got you, Sam. No, I genuinely didn't hear it. That's just like the ring to it. Thank you, man.
No, we get 4 minutes in, dominating early proceedings. No doubt about
They
that.
said I was nervous. I'm never
Arsenal
nervous.
0, Brentford. Aggressive, I think, is the word to use.
That's what I want my team to do tonight at the Emirates, at the carpet.
Less the carpet. The Arsenal playing at the carpet. Burnley 0, Palace 0, Wolves 0, Forest 0, Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0. Abby.
Oh, I don't nothing. I'm just acclimatising that CJ is absolutely back in the building. Back in the building. I did want to talk to you about the Chelsea game. It wasn't even in a bad mind type of way.
Go on. What do you want to know?
Okay. So I was going to say, obviously, Mosquera and Hincapié have both been very good when they've come in, but they've always had someone like a Saliba or Gabriel next to them. Did you notice a difference, mainly in someone like a Declan Rice's positioning during that Chelsea game? I felt that he was a lot deeper. It was kind of like he felt he didn't necessarily have full trust in them, and I felt that was why he was so open at times in your midfield, because he was dropping back in to kind of protect them and help them out. Is that something that you're slightly concerned about the longer this spell without Gabriel and Saliba goes on?
I mean, naturally, I wouldn't say concerned, but you're concerned the longer it goes on, because it obviously has ramifications of, simply put, how we go from David Raya's box, obviously, to the opponent's final third. But for me, we saw that against Bayern Munich. Declan Rice was kind of doing the sick stuff a lot more, Abby, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're playing Chelsea and you haven't got your back foot, you haven't got your first choice pivot in defence, and Chelsea do have quality players, you're going to kind of play on that. I do think Hincapié and Mosquera came out well, and naturally, that's whether it's Mikel Arteta or obviously Declan Rice, you're going to go and do that, aren't you? So if it's in short, to answer your question, if this persists, and there's obviously, we're sat here 3, 4, 5 games in and we're saying the same things, it becomes a concern. But we've just got to box smart in this period. Injuries happen with everyone. We just got to get on with it and just keep these players wrapped in cotton wool and get our players back fit.
It was just more the amount of space you had in your midfield. I can't remember a time of recent where I've seen Arsenal be that open.
That's because of Maresca. Again, I do not want to praise Chelsea, and we can talk about injuries and things, but Maresca's game plan, I think, as an Arsenal fan, there's 3 times I've been impressed with someone's style of play. We beat Fulham, but I was impressed with the mid-block from Marco Silva. We obviously beat Bayern Munich, but I think Company played a great game plan. And Maresca, you got to remember, as much as it's a London derby and Arsenal versus Chelsea and things of that ilk, Maresca and Mikel Arteta, they're from the same school of Pep Guardiola. They know each other personally. So I do think that kind of played on Mikel Arteta's mind, and the way Chelsea used Reece James, how they had Fofana in build-up play, how they went man for man, there was just too many gaps in our midfield. So I make you right, that was the first time in a minute that I've actually seen us open in midfield, and I do think Arteta did approach it in a kind of risk-averse way, and then the way the game kind of went on, it kind of leveraged that. Even if I'm honest, the credit I can give to Chelsea is they went a man down, they did not look out of place, and I think these are just kind of like little ingredients in the cocktail as to why I guess you're asking me that question and why you saw what you saw against Chelsea.
Yeah, because I thought that Maresca had a brilliant week. Obviously, the way that they set up for Barcelona was exceptional. I thought Reece James had the best game of his life in midfield. He was absolutely unbelievable. And in all honesty, Caicedo was having a great game as well until stupidity kind of took over. Well, I think he had a good day. Had a good game. Sorry, but it's just frustrating that obviously probably a spectacle that we would have all liked to have seen 11v11 was obviously kind of taken away from.
From a neutral point of view, that was a shame. So I thought 11v11. I thought Chelsea went toe to toe with Arsenal.
Chelsea looked really
good
strong.
Man-to-man press, we struggled.
Was great. And also, that's something else I noticed, that in terms of other teams that play against Arsenal, I think you're right with what you said earlier. So many teams give Arsenal so much respect that they sit there low blocker or even a mid blocker sometimes, and they don't want to press you and they don't want to try because they're so worried about the attacking options that Arsenal have, and let alone obviously what you can do from set pieces. So I just feel like Chelsea had so much about them. They look really impressive, and I just think that it's a little thing that if you are a team that is facing Arsenal, sometimes you do just have to give it a go.
Please give it a go. Please open up against us.
I wish my team would have given it a go.
Well, I promise you one thing, CJ.
Brentford
aren't going to do that.
They're not going to do that.
I actually think Maresca watched the Bayern game, because in terms of the man-for-man press, which Chelsea did to us, we did that against Bayern in the second half. And I do think in a day and age of systemic football, you're going to see more teams against anyone have a go and go man-for-man. And
we have our first goal, and the first goal comes at the Amex. It's a big game. It's 4th versus 5th, and it's a home goal for Brighton. It's Van Heck, the defender, that scores from close range from a corner. So 8 minutes gone. It's Brighton 1, Aston Villa 0. There's no Emi Martinez in goal for Aston Villa this evening, and the Aston Villa goalkeeper is not happy with something. It was an in-swinging corner from the left-hand side that was whipped in. It's and it's not dealt with. And Van Heck puts the ball in the back of the net. Let's have a look here. Most teams now copying Arsenal with this. It's a really, really good in-swinging corner that comes in. The goalkeeper gets absolutely nowhere near it, does he, right? He tries to come and collect, and then in the end, it's he kind of just bounces off Van Heck, doesn't he, from close range?
What's the keeper crying about?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a classic case, CJ. Oh, there's a hand in there, but it's a Villa hand. But that's a classic case, CJ. If you make a mistake, you blame someone else.
Yeah, keepers love doing that.
And the keeper looks in no man's land there. It goes right over his head. He gets nowhere near it.
Oh, and it shouldn't have been a corner as well.
And they are looking at, the sort of the phase before it where it's come off.
It's too late now. Yeah, in the build-up to the corner, long ball was sent over to the left-hand side, and I think it came off the Brighton's defender.
But again, we go back to that piece about VAR, right? And
Yes! Oh. Where's the nerves? Abby, you said I was nervous. How can I be nervous when we've got Mikel Merino? Thank you. 0-0, boys. Switch on.
You actually did say that you were nervous.
Yeah, I mean, what's nerves, man? What's nerves? I'm a human being.
Just to back that up.
You have to have nerves. It means you're alive.
He did say that he was.
I don't know. Is there any recording? I can't be nervous.
I don't know. It was during the break, but I'm sure there is if we can find it.
10 minutes into the game, and Arsenal take the lead. Victor Gyökeres is fit again. He's on the bench. Hey, who needs Gyökeres? Who needs Havertz? Who needs Gabriel Jesus when you got Mikel Merino? This is a really, really good header. Cross comes in from the right-hand side. He makes a really good run. It's a powerful header, and it beats the Brentford goalkeeper. Arsenal patient in the build-up play. The ball gets played out to the right-hand side. Noni Madueke up against his defender. And that's...
Xavi Simons do anything like that?
Is that Ben White on the overlap who makes a good run? It gets played into Ben White. Cross comes into the box, and Mikel Merino heads home. But lovely play there, CJ, down the right-hand side. Madueke with a flick to Ben White.
Just Arsenal doing Arsenal things. And you know what? I've missed Noni Madueke. I know there was a lot of talk about him when he signed for this football club. He actually started his life at Arsenal very well. Unfortunately, got injured, and it's like he's never left. Odegaard, who's also starting for the first time in a hot minute, done very well. Benjamin White, another one. Madueke with a cute flick. It's delivered into Merino. Merino does what Merino does. Score goals for this football club.
How important has he been in terms of being able to play in that number 9 with injuries? And he's doing it well.
He's doing it very well. I mean, Mikel Merino, let's be honest, he's never going to be anyone's first choice. He's never going to be anyone's cup of tea. But again, big games, he does his business. And I actually think him and Kai Havertz, maybe not necessarily in terms of ability, but where you look at tactically understanding of what Mikel Arteta demands from you in that starting 11, they're probably two of the best players in the squad. And this is why we need a squad. It's a bit mad that we've got three probably strikers that be ahead of him in the pecking order injured, but if we want to win trophies, we just have to get on with it. Injuries are nothing exclusive to Arsenal. I would say the biggest thing for me today is actually Calafiori not getting a yellow card, or he'd be out of the Villa game.
So Arsenal then leading against Brentford. Lovely play down the right-hand side. It was a good flick from Madueke into Ben White. The cross into the box was really good, and Ben White heading home. So Arsenal leading Brentford then by a 0-0, looking to extend their lead at the top of the table. Once again, Brentford winless in their last 7 away games against Arsenal in all competitions. Brighton also leading Aston Villa at home by a 0-0. Aston Villa have lost their last 4 away Premier League games in the month of December, and it looks like their poor record, as things stand, could continue. Although Ollie Watkins has a chance. His shot takes a deflection after being laid off by Morgan Rogers. Takes a deflection. Aston Villa have got a corner. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0. Palace have lost just 1 of their last 17 Premier League games against promoted sides. And there's also Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Nottingham Forest having the better of the opening 30 minutes in that game. 4 of 6 Premier League meetings between Wolves and Nottingham Forest have been drawn. Brentford, though, have a corner. Left-footed in swinging corner. Arsenal win the header, and they look set to clear. Aston Villa now going to play their corner, right-footed corner. That's Carlos Baleba there, who does really, really well to win that header. Ball comes back into the box, flicked on towards goalwards into the hands of Verbruggen. So the 2 goals, one for Arsenal leading Brentford by a 0-0, and also Brighton leading Aston Villa by a 0-0. That's 4th versus 5th in the Premier League. When you look at this Arsenal team, is there, the one thing I think if people are trying to talk about Arsenal not winning the league is, how do they cope with the pressure when it gets to kind of March time? Will they, fall away? Can you see that happening this year, or do you think they're just going to be a year older and a year wiser?
I think, a year older, a year wiser, or as some would say, 3 years older and 3 years wiser.
Just about to say.
But I think the broader point I would make about it is, you look at someone like Merino. He showed flashes of it last year, I think, at Leicester when he scored those 2 goals. It was 0-0, and he sort of pulled the game by the scruff of the neck and won it for them. You need those players in your side. We always think of Divock Origi, don't we, as a guy who came up trump in certain moments, in certain stages of the game, that just offers something a little bit different. And Madueke is a great example of that, where you're bringing in someone to replace Saka tonight, and he's giving you similar invention, and he's giving you the way to unlock what is, unnatural, quite an awkward night for Arsenal, really, isn't it? It's a lose-lose situation. Brentford have made a hatful of changes. It looks like Keith Andrews, just to sort of further the point we were saying earlier about Brentford's team selection. You said the four best players are not on the squad tonight. You said that, it's likely that this is a side that starts the game, but it won't finish it. So, you are expected to see some of those names come on that are on the bench. But there just seems to be this sense from Arsenal of getting the job done in whatever way we need to. Just keep getting the job done.
17, I think so. That this could be 18, and you're right, man. It doesn't matter who goes out there. The squad is designed for moments and periods like this, so we just need to keep it moving. And I know there's a lot of football to be played tonight, and obviously in the season. But I always think when you play stubborn units and mid and deep and low blocks, or teams that, I don't want to say Brentford don't want to play football, but they're trying to be compact defensively, the best thing you can do is score. Obviously, it won't happen in the first 15 minutes, but at some point they're going to have to commit bodies forward, which obviously opens up space for the Martinellis, for the Maduekes, or if people come off the bench later in the game.
Well, look, I think the tricky one for you this week as well is the 12:30 against Villa, isn't it? Live on talkSPORT.
Yeah.
But I think that that's really
great cross promotion, right?
There you go. There you go. I thought I'd got a bit of a bounce to that, Sam.
No.
You just let me try.
Who's on commentary duty? Do you know?
Sam Matterface is definitely on commentary duty at 12:30.
Yeah. And guess what, Ryan? Here's one for you.
And he's on with a summariser.
Oh, Madueke! Oh, Madueke, really good quick feet there, cutting in from the right-hand side, got a shot away, pushed away by Kelleher. talkSPORT goals will be on at the same time as well.
It will be.
How about that? Hey, Abs?
There you go.
12:30, looking forward to 12:30.
Dual billing.
Yeah.
Top billing.
That's the great thing. You can watch us
or listen
on
to
talkSPORT's YouTube channel. Well, we kind of both really, isn't
Same
it?
thing.
Watch and listen, then you can flick over to the radio. That's the great thing about talkSPORT, isn't it? If you download the talkSPORT app right now, if you wanted to, not that you shouldn't listen to us, you got all 6 commentaries this evening on the talkSPORT. You can just flick through it, Ryan.
Totally terrific, mate, isn't it? Ultimately, it's totally terrific. But I think the point he's making about that is that this game could always be seen as an afterthought when you think,
come on,
Villa are the tougher test this week.
Yeah.
So that's the credit. They started well. It's about maintaining that now. It's about, kicking on, getting the second and, shutting this game down.
Street smart more than anything.
Because they can do that. They've got the quality. You just don't want to have a few chances here where they often rue them, and then there's a moment where Brentford can strike and, they can cause problems, set pieces. We've seen that. The long throw from Coyote is really problematic.
We know about that, don't we?
We know all too well, mate. And then obviously corners as well, So they've got a moment in them, Brentford. So it's Arsenal's job now just to shut this out, I think.
Nice to have him back, Abs, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah.
I've missed you.
I haven't seen you for ages.
I've needed you. I haven't just missed you, if anything. I think I've needed you.
Sam lost his head a few times over the last month or so.
The one that got me.
You'll never walk alone, lads, until I've got a busy period, and then you will.
it was fully walking on his own.
You'll never walk alone until we lose a few games in a row. Then you're absolutely on your own.
You're old, lads. 9 defeats in 12. I'm off.
Yeah, no. Good, thank you. Good to have you back though tonight. Right, on a serious note, 8:15 Liverpool versus Sunderland this evening.
Yeah.
I actually remember, to be fair, an argument you and Quaku had, I think, after we got turned over in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Who turned us over away? It wasn't Frankfurt. Galatasaray, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, you were almost making the point, hey, listen, we're not playing well, but we're getting wins. It's all good.
Yeah.
And I think, to be fair, to Quaku's credit, he was a bit like, you're not playing well, you can't keep playing like this. But, I don't think any of us thought it'd be 9 defeats in 12.
No, I mean, unless Quaku's the next Nostradamus, which he absolutely isn't. He's far from it. Ultimately, I think he was just trying to pick holes in a side that was winning games. Fundamentally, that's the way I saw it. I am not going to judge a side. A side that's winning games constantly, which they were at the start of the season, regardless. And this was obviously before the Palace and the Galatasaray results. So we're talking those first 5 games. We were getting over the line. They were a new team. They were. You've seen all of the quality, the issues.
You think in hindsight there was warning signs though?
Possibly and possibly not, because I think I've seen so many seasons gone by, as you said. You know your side inside out. When you watch it, I've watched Liverpool so many years where it's not been brilliant in the first couple of months, but they've got the job done under Klopp. So there's no reason why the same group of players couldn't just do the same. And then I was waiting for a big Champions League night where you would see that. And ultimately, look at Real Madrid. That's a great example. And if we were having this conversation a couple of weeks ago when they beat Villa and they beat Real Madrid and were just before that City game, it looks completely different. But that's the signs of inconsistency, isn't it? So I wasn't. I think for me, it was like, well, first couple of games of the season, he's winning games and he's trying to shift he was trying to shift quite rapidly as well, which I had concerns about. Where he's trying to move to a team where he had 4 or 5 new players straight in, which that's always problematic. Then he started to lose a couple of games, lost 3 or 4 on the bounce. And I was like, still give him a bit of time. He still needs to get to a point where he's tinkering with his team and he's got that sort of collision point between ideals and outcomes. And then he started to lose games at a rapid pace, and then it was like, right, wow, what's going on here? Tactically he's lost his head. I don't think he's making good decisions or good choices, and he's landed upon a completely different side now over the last 2 games that doesn't include Mo Salah. Now I'd be interested to see what he's saying to Richard Hughes in the hierarchy, that the player that's got
Brentford hit the bar. Goodness me. Sorry, Rod, to cut across you. There was Brentford had a couple minute spell of really decent pressure. An in-swinging corner comes in, left-footed, and I think it was Sharda who got his head on it. And it comes off the bar. I'm not sure if Raya got a big hand on it, CJ. But as you mentioned there, Brentford from set pieces, they're going to cause Arsenal problems.
It was a set piece derby, Brentford don't get enough credit. They're one of the most forward-thinking clubs in the Premier League. Keith Andrews was their set piece coach. They're annoying in a good way from set pieces. And like you saw from that corner, I don't know if Raya's got a touch there because the viewing ain't the best or it's hit the crossbar. But thank the Lord that hasn't gone in. And we've started the game probably the stronger side, had a lot of possession. But that's just warning signs that regardless of if it's the strongest Brentford side or not, they can still cause you problems if you get complacent. They've had a couple of chances.
Let's have a look. Raya does save though. Yeah, he pushes onto the bar, and it's a good save because the corner comes in with real good pace on it. Sharda does. It's a free header, and Sharda does well to get that.
Never, you are correct.
Yeah, that's actually top job draw because Sharda's only a couple of yards out. There's pace on the corner. It's powerful, and he gets a big right hand on it and pushes it onto the bar.
Say my story of the week. I bumped
Did you meet David Raya?
No, I bumped into Riccardo Calafiori in Selfridges.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. On Monday, yeah. I just looked up. I went, this tall Italian geezer, 6'6", and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, it's Calafiori.
And did you go over to him and say hello? Say hi, I'm Ryan from talkSPORT Golf.
Did you watch the show?
Yeah, did you watch the show?
Big fan.
He's having a shop.
Was he
leave him to his own device?
What were you buying?
What were you doing in Selfridges?
Just having a wander around and a browse.
Bit of Christmas shop.
No, yeah, a little bit of Christmas shop.
I thought you were supposed to be really busy with this new job you got going on.
I was busy. I had some time in the evening. I went over to Selfridges.
Oh, it was in the evening, was it?
Yeah, it was.
What did you get?
We don't need to disclose that, Sam.
Why not?
Yeah, just a few bits from the Christmas shop.
All right. Anything nice?
Yeah, a few bits.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, lads.
Well, now the fact you're being really secretive makes me want to know even more.
Yeah, I know, but I've sort of set myself off on that zone now. So let's get back to Liverpool.
All right.
Fundamentally, as the producer would want us to be fair.
No, of course he would. Yeah. You're talking about. Sorry. He said we can't move on until we know what you bought. What was Calafiori? Did he have like a? Was he just?
He was in. I'll tell you he was in a Louis Vuitton section.
No, was he really?
Yeah, he was.
And you weren't, no?
Well, I bumped into him as I was walking past.
Say, well, this new job must be.
I walked into him whilst he was in the Louis Vuitton section. Yeah.
Well, did he have the aura that Arsenal fans speak about? Did he have the aura in real life?
Well, he got back there. I haven't heard that for a while.
He had the height, and he had his jacket. I'll tell you what he did have. I've got a picture to show you. He had his jacket draped over his back.
It sounds like already.
You're rich when you walk around like that. Yeah. That's how Abby walks around. That's how Abby walks around Millhill Broadway. Honestly, you should see her the way she runs the Broadway as we're off to Joyce for our brunch, aren't we, Abby?
And Sam watches me park my car.
Yeah, goodness me! I tell you what. She needs help. You're going to make a really interesting point, I hope, anyway, about Mo Salah, Arne Slot, and Richard Hughes.
Yeah, I just think it's I wonder what conversations have gone on behind the scenes, because when you got a player that is earning £400,000 a week, he's the most expensive on the wage book, and he's sitting on the bench now, and it feels like the solution that you've landed upon seems to be the next iteration of the team after Salah, but it seems a little bit too early to start that piece initially.
In a couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, in the short term, it's a good fix, isn't it? But in the long term, it's not. And if you've got a solution where Salah does not appear in your plans, then
writing's on the wall.
The writing's on the wall, or there's something coming.
But can I ask you a question on
down
that?
line.
with the best will in the world, obviously Salah has just not been remotely at it.
I totally agree with you.
That's not to take away from the fact that he's done what he's done and he's a Premier League great, arguably one of the best to ever play in the Premier League. We'll always be having that debate with the numbers he's put up. But realistically, you can't keep playing Salah when he's not offering anything to the team. Liverpool aren't in a position at the moment where they can have a passenger, and that is essentially what Mohamed Salah has become.
Everyone's place up for grabs.
I totally agree with you.
Arguably, obviously, I think he would have been dropped anyway because of the AFCON situation. This has probably done it a little bit earlier for you because you've got the options in Isak, in Ekitike, and everyone else that Arne Slot had to find a formula that actually won you a game. So with that formula, why then suddenly change it and unbalance it and make it something it wasn't? You have to stick with that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, realistically, you have to plan for life after Salah. He's 33 years old. He's 33, right?
Yeah, but you don't renew his deal in the summer if you're planning for life.
No, but I think you have to think logically about why they renewed that. It's so eventually wherever he goes, whether that be Saudi, America, wherever he goes to next, somewhere in Europe, whatever it is, it's so Liverpool again aren't in the position where that player is out of contract like it was with Trent and like it was with Virgil, where there was no one was signing. This
quite possibly.
We were sitting here saying it's criminal that Liverpool got themselves in a situation where their three best players were all out of contract.
Yeah, quite possibly.
But you have to start planning for life without Mohamed Salah because he's not a spring chicken. He is going to go.
Life works. It was a no-brainer for when he signed.
But either way, you still had to plan for that because whether or not he was going to stay past. He might stay past this season, who knows? But regardless, he's not going to be your long-term plan. You've got players there that now have to be built around, and it's not going to be Mo Salah in the future.
He's not absolutely. I totally agree with you. But there must have always been in the back of their heads. Well, we've got Salah for the next 2 years.
Exactly.
That's his deal.
I think they always thought they were going to get rid after one.
But I don't agree because last year there's a 2-year agreement, and everyone's saying, oh, maybe there should be an extension in there. That was the conversation. I don't think anybody in the right mind. Liverpool turned around and said we're parting ways and shook hands with Salah at the end of last year, and he left the club. There would have been pandemonium.
They weren't going to get rid of him last year.
I know, but you say obviously not. But if he's not, if he's not in the plans, and you're going to shift him out,
thinking long term.
No, but I agree with Abby's point though. I do think one of the good things about giving him a 2-year contract is there was always that possibility that after a year, if there was a drop in form and Saudi was still around, Liverpool Football Club would still be in a position to have that one more season of Mo Salah, which we needed. But then also, if there was a drop off in form, still be in a good position of power where we can get good money for a player with 1 year left on his deal.
It's good business, and a similar situation to Son. You know, but the fact that Son had an extension on his contract, there was no way he was going to see out of all of it. Good business, got 20 million for a player that was finished.
Look, I mean, potentially, but I mean, to call Salah finished is.
I'm not saying he's finished.
No, I know, but but my point is, you're drawing comparables to someone that in Son that you felt that was massively on decline. And just on this point, though, what I would say is, we have seen seasons in the past. Phil Foden, a great example. Yeah. The kid wasn't finished last year. He's having his best season this year. There's no reason why Mo Salah next year can't kick on and still do the numbers that he did of 20, 25 goals. I'd still back him if you had the structure and the formation that aided him and put him into that piece. I understand that you take him out of the final line, but my point is, the question for me, where I, when they kept saying to me at the start of the season, are you worried about Liverpool? And I was like, well, no, I'm not worried about Liverpool because he's still finding his way. Until he finds his way, I can't really judge him. Now he's found his way, it's like, okay, so what was your plan initially? Was this the plan? Because Wirtz obviously is in a positionless 10 on Sunday, and that feels like that was the plan, and that's what was sold to him. And Isak similarly. But there's conversations about Semenyo and on the left-hand side, and you know what? I think that's a great idea. Maybe bring him in because he's an informed player. We talked about Rio Engamo was not quite ready yet, and Gakpo's had his critics. But equally, you could argue, well, then where does Ekitike fit into the plans then? If you are bringing in Semenyo, you're going to shut down that left wing opportunity.
I don't know how nailed on this Semenyo thing is. I mean, I also think that this should not be an area that you're looking for at this moment in time.
But that's the broader point is you've got a collection, a group of players that ultimately.
Brighton have doubled their lead against Aston Villa. Jack Hinchell was scoring for Brighton. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 0. Carry on, Ron.
That's what we're reverting to. That's what I'm saying to you. What was the plan for them? If you brought this collection of players, you're bringing in Ekitike, and then a couple of months later, there's links and rumours that is intensifying. And let's be honest, respected journalists and reports like David Ornstein Florentine is saying that, Liverpool are interested in that £65 million release clause, and there will be competition from the likes of City and even potentially Spurs. But that's irrelevant. The point is, they're thinking potentially down that left-hand side, and Slot's even referenced he's got other positions that he's thinking about. Yeah. So, you're thinking about bringing someone in on that left side, then Ekitike's your backup striker. Well, how long's he going to stand for that? I don't quite know. Salah was in your plans for 2 years, in my view. You could speculate either way, but he wasn't your plans for 2 years. So for me, it just asks a few question marks of what was the initial strategy and idea when you brought all of these players in? Because you must know, you must have an idea. And have you worked out quite quickly that ain't going to wash? It's not going to work in the Premier League.
Slot signings
so you've completely reversed.
Yeah, are you directing this at the board, or are you directing this at Arne Slot?
No,
is it Slot or the board?
It's a mixture, isn't it? Because we can only speculate how much Slot is involved in those decisions.
Yeah.
But the way I would like to look at it from a Liverpool perspective is they were planning for Slot to be the manager for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And so he must have been heavily involved and had his fingerprints on it, because if he was the guy that they wanted to have the next iteration of the team built for, then he's got to say, yeah, I want to play like this. And if you look at the PSG game, it feels like everybody, if you read the reports and the articles of people that really do know the club inside out and the reporters that are tuned into this, it really does feel like he was enamoured by that PSG performance, and he wants to replicate that type of style at Liverpool, and he's brought in the players to allow him to do that. But what my biggest concern was over that period where we were losing games was not that we were losing games for the fun of it, was we're not getting the best out of the players that we brought in. The likes of Verts, the likes of Issa, square pegs and round holes, Szoboszlai getting pulled back, the underutilisation of Gomez. He's switched and pivoted now.
Yeah.
And, there's an opportunity now of the next couple of games. Said, it's a reset, if you like, which is great. But my biggest point is you've got a team now that does not include Mohamed Salah. And I think it's not laughable to think it was unthinkable at the start of the end.
Absolutely.
It was, but form dictates everything.
Form does.
Where Liverpool are at, like, no one can complain if
there's just questions around that, personally. So short term, it works because you're African Cup of Nations, you lead into that, it's a good transition. Long term, and I know it's mid-term, if you like, because he's here for 2 years, but, to have a player that you're paying £400,000.
But that is just what happens. That is just how it's happened.
But then I don't understand.
Fell out of form.
So what you're saying? Arne Slot has to pick him every single week, even if it's
I don't. I'm just interested to see what he thought the
Basically,
final
can't be on the bench
was going to be. If he bought Vert and Isak, where did he think Salah was going to play if he's playing Vert?
But don't you see what I'm saying to you? I'm not saying...
Vert plays off Isak and Salah plays from the right. I think that was the plan. And I thought it'd be Ekitike/Gakpo from the left in more of a 4-2-3-1.
You miss Trent's creativity.
Yeah, but I think the broad point I'm saying is I've just got question marks on. You've now landed on a solution that doesn't contain Mohamed.
Yeah,
right.
He's been woefully out of form and had to lose his place on Sunday.
I think it's because you.
But that's just a question. It's just a question mark ultimately of like why have we landed on a solution where it doesn't include us?
Because every time Salah has played for you, you've looked like you've had 10 men
over the last couple of games. I totally agree with what you're saying. Form on form, I get it.
Then on form, he's got to come out of the team.
Yeah, but that's he gets paid £400,000.
Yeah, I know, but right,
it doesn't matter.
Ryan, you're looking through this through very Liverpool rose-tinted glasses. You are.
I'm not.
You are. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's 400 grand or not a week. Really makes no difference.
Absolutely does.
If it's not, because at the moment you can't afford to keep losing. So without Mohamed Salah in the team, you've won. If he comes on tonight and he benefits off the bench, great, brilliant, back in business, back in talking points.
You've paid £150 million for Vert, and you paid £130 million.
But Vert has only just got here.
Yeah, I know, but you paid £130 million for Isak, so you couldn't have a situation where he wasn't playing, could you?
But Vert hasn't always played. Isak hasn't always played. I've seen Isak sit on the bench.
But look at the solution.
Because he's Mohamed Salah doesn't mean he has to start.
Now he's got Vert and Isak in the team. So look at his solution. So he has to play.
You want him to still play Mohamed Salah, even though that's not actually benefiting Liverpool.
If you anchor ourselves back in the point that I made initially was, I'm interested to understand what the conversations were behind the scenes that he's dropped Salah. Because
Ryan, sorry, Abby, can I cut Ryan? The conversation to drop Mo Salah would have been Mo Salah is struggling this season. Mo Salah's out of form. He would have played obviously in the week on Wednesday. Let's take him out of the team and try a system and
How long do you think Salah stays out this team?
It wouldn't surprise me if he's back in on Saturday, because I think we're at that stage of the season where every team that plays in Europe, we're all playing every couple of days. So, and you also say, by the way, that he stumbled across a solution. I don't think we're quite there yet, where it's like we know this is our strongest team.
No, I know, but I mean, however you want to take that word. Temporary.
Okay, but only thing I'm surprised about is me and you are at a similar age, okay? I think I would say for me, I would say for me in my lifetime, Mo Salah is, whether it's him.
You love picking up age on this show, don't you?
Whether it's him or Steven Gerrard, they're the two best players I've seen play for the football club in my lifetime, okay?
Yeah.
Last season, Mo Salah hit generational numbers in terms of consistency, but he's not alone. There's no doubt this season, I think it's pretty obvious to see that Mo Salah's form has completely taken a dive. And I'll even go any further. I'm surprised, Ryan, that Arne Slot hasn't dropped him earlier this season.
Ryan,
Hear me out.
He's
been out of form. He's playing every 3 days, which isn't easy. So I thought him not playing against West Ham wasn't a surprise. We had our best performance in a long, long time. So therefore, I think it makes sense for this evening, given we finally won a game on the weekend just gone, to pick the same team, which doesn't include Mo Salah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that much of a surprise, is it?
I think for me, I think it is a surprise because
he's been awful this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I agree with you.
So would you have kept playing him regardless of the form?
To be fair, he never said that.
That was a question.
Let me put the point across. Ultimately, what I'm saying about Salah is I totally understand the reasons for why they've dropped him. Yeah. Right? Let's get that very clear. Right? Point number one. Totally understand the reasons why they've dropped him. I think for me, it was about understanding why the temporary solution that he's landed upon doesn't include Salah. And the bigger point is, how long does that go on for? Because if he comes back in on Saturday, then it's probably a little bit of a non-story. But if he's out for 6 or 7 or 8 games, then you've got Salah on the bench. And you say it's not that big of a story, but every press conference he will be asked.
It wasn't a story.
No, but every press
I just said he's been in poor form, so it's not a surprise he's been taken out of the team.
Okay, so let's take it from that perspective.
Definitely a big story.
It's not a surprise. Well, every press conference they're going to ask Slot, Salah's on the bench.
Ryan,
Salah's on the bench. So no, all I'm saying is, I'm just intrigued to see that he's landed upon a solution which doesn't include Salah right now because he's put Szoboszlai in that role, which seems pretty crucial. So you take that out, you're going to completely destabilise the team. So where does Salah come back in? Because Salah's not going to do the same role.
But
as
Salah might not come back in the same way.
Where would you put him in then? In that team? That's me.
Genuinely, currently I put him on the bench.
Yeah, but how long for that?
Until you start losing again, and then you want to change it again. If you go on
until you start losing again, that's
why would you change? Why would you change something that you've won with? You hadn't won in however many games before that.
Because you're paying £400,000 a week.
It's irrelevant. Just because someone is.
How is that irrelevant? You've got your top earner on the bench.
Just because you pay someone £400,000 a week doesn't mean that they have to start if they're not playing well.
No, but he can't just not be in the plans anymore.
Ryan, he's not.
He's not. But he's also not.
Who says he's not on the plan?
Ryan,
just because he's been on the bench for 2 games in a row, that doesn't mean for a single second that Mo Salah is not part of Arne Slot's
Come on, Manoli, come on.
And that doesn't mean that Mo Salah is not going to play again, Ryan. It just means for this moment in time, I think it's quite simple. I think Mo Salah has been badly out of form, and I think Arne Slot made the right call to take him out of the team for the West Ham game to try something a little bit different. Hear me out. Excuse me?
I don't think it's civil at all. I think he's given himself a massive headache that if this team works for the next 4 or 5 games, where'd you bring
Ryan, I tell you what a bigger headache is, mate. Losing 9 games out of 12.
I totally
That's a bigger headache.
I totally agree.
And if he didn't sort it out, he would have got sacked, mate.
I totally agree with you. But what's to say?
Ollie Watkins scored for Aston Villa, Brighton 2, Aston Villa 1.
Form is temporary class as permanent, and Salah has shown.
And let's hope he can get back to that level.
What is to show that he couldn't get back to that level?
We can, but if you want to keep flogging,
but right now the priority is 3 points.
If you want to keep playing Salah and you keep losing, then fine.
I'm not suggesting
get back into a winning position, and then maybe you can reintegrate Salah back in the team.
I'm just intrigued that he's got a solution that's got Szoboszlai on that side and Wirtz in the centre. Then that means, from my perspective, it's like, well, if that works, you've got a massive problem.
But why is it a problem? You'll be winning. No one will care.
Salah will be on the bench.
Who cares?
Well, I'd imagine the management's paying him £400 just for
Are you paying his wages?
No.
So what do you care for?
Well, don't
you just want your team to win?
Yeah.
Do you not care who plays?
I totally agree.
If Chiesa comes off the bench and scores, who cares? As long as you win, it doesn't matter who puts the ball in the back of the net.
That's a completely different point entirely, isn't it?
But I don't know what point you're trying. I'm lost. I don't know what point you're trying to make.
I'm just giving you a.
You're saying that it's a very big problem that Salah doesn't come into the team.
He's asked me about Salah. We've
all asked you about Salah.
Yeah, you've asked me about Salah. All I'm giving you is the view where I think that could be problematic.
But you're saying, but why?
I just said that could be problematic.
Why is that? But why is that
problematic about that?
But what is problematic about that? That's what I'm asking. What is problematic about Salah sitting on the bench and you actually winning games?
Because he's your top.
Because he's your top earner.
I can't keep saying it. I'm banging my head against the wall.
I don't understand, mate. At the end of the day, you need to win games. You lost 9 out of 12. You've won a game, so he's on the bench. Cool.
Build a solution includes Salah.
Igor Jesus has given Nottingham Forest the lead away at Wolves. 38 minutes gone. Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 1. I am kind of. I really am. They've also right. So, but something just because Mo Salah wasn't in the team on Sunday, and wasn't in the team tonight, that doesn't mean that Mo Salah is finished. It doesn't mean the Mo Salah.
He never said that.
Going to come back.
Thank you, CJ. Do you know what? Me and him.
He's not saying that.
No, but I promise you.
He always comes on and backs me up.
Yeah, no. Do you know what it generally is? With Liverpool, the collective comes first. Every one of those players could be dropped because your form's been appalling.
Yeah.
Right now, as you said, slot is priority is 3 points. So right now, whoever's on the bench, that's your business.
Right.
Yeah.
What Ryan is saying is obviously.
What's Ryan saying?
I'm going to get into it. The next couple of games, while you're picking up form and momentum, you can get away with that. But the longer it goes on and Salah's out the side, obviously he's on big wages. It's something that's going to have to be addressed. It's not that he has to necessarily come back into the team. He's just on big money, and it's an elephant in the room that's going to get bigger and bigger.
Okay, I completely,
That's it.
I completely appreciate that he's on £400,000 a week, and I understand that.
Thank you.
But Ryan, when they gave him £400,000 a week 4 or 5 months ago, nobody, I don't think, nobody would have predicted the Mo Salah's form would have dropped off like this. He's been bang average this season and way below his best, and therefore I don't care if he's on the floor. No, of course, and we know that, Ryan, right? And they've all been in poor form, But I'm sorry, if he's on £400,000 a week or £400,000 a day, Arne Slot has he needed to try and find solutions to stop this awful run of form we've been on, 9 defeats in 12. He tried lots of different ones, they've all failed. And on Sunday just gone, he tried something a little bit different, which did include Mo Salah. I think it was fine to drop him, and I also think it's absolutely bang on to pick the same team this evening,
I agree.
I don't think, Ryan, that for a single second means that Mo Salah, one of the greatest ever players, on £400,000 a week, is done, finished, will never play again. And also, Ryan, in this month of December, I appreciate it's going away soon, we're playing every 3 days, so he's not going to pick the 11 to play tonight. He won't pick the same 11 on Saturday against Leeds because 11 players can't play 90 minutes in 3 games in 7 days. So I think there's a pretty good chance we might just see, Ryan, a little bit more rest and rotation. But you referenced the wages on loads of occasions. Arne Slot cannot just keep picking in every week on the right hand side.
Two things are getting conflated.
No, they're not. There you
are.
Look
he's
at
not
the
saying
different
that he has to play because he's on wages.
Look at the different
At some point,
profiles.
he's going to be asked consistently in press conferences. Like, let's just assume. Let's just say this to make it easier. Yeah, Liverpool win every game from now till mid-January. Salah's on the bench because we're assuming the same 11.
Sure. Okay.
He's simply saying that's cool, but that's a bigger question and it's going to have to be addressed. That's what I mean by clearly listening to all three of you. You're conflating two things into one, multiple things.
And I'll go and I'll add on to that. You're talking about rotation, but Salah doesn't. That Salah is not a natural rotation for Szoboszlai, is he? That's the point. But he's not. He's
and I
not
appreciate that. I hear you.
Different players. So if your solution is the linchpins of your solution is relying on Szoboszlai's physicality and his energy down that right side, and Wirtz in the 10 and him pulling the strings, Gakpo offering what he does off the left, and Isak offering what he does down the 9, then it is a little bit problematic that Salah isn't in your plans. That's the point I made. Ultimately. That's the point I made. So even if you rotate, you're going to lose something, aren't you? And guess who'll be the 4 guy for that? It'll be Salah, won't it? Because if he comes back in the team, what have we changed it for? Because Salah's come back in, he doesn't offer you the same physicality, he's not tracking back in the same way. So the point is, he's moved away from Salah in November. I don't think it's a mad thing. I'm telling you, I think he's started the process of that. If this works, because he's as you've just said, he's tried everything else.
Yeah. But also, what is wrong with that? I'm just.
You've renewed his deal in May.
Okay, but things do change.
But then long term, you do have to plan for post Salah.
Yeah, you do.
We're not talking about a player that's 21. We're talking about a player that's 33.
You can't tell me that was in their plans.
I don't think it was in their plans, but plans change. Things change in life. You know, a summer can make a difference to a player at that age. Not having
it can, but also you're
and everything else that goes
form
on
over the last couple of months. Going, well, that's his form. Well, the kid, he's proved.
We're not judging it over 1 2 games.
But the point is, he's proved time and time and again he can transform that form.
Okay, so come off the bench, prove a point, and you'll be back in the
side.
side.
Where does he? But the point is, where does he come in off the bench? Where'd you put him? Do you put him up top instead of Isak? Because you put him on the right-hand side, you lose all the physicality, is what I'm saying, and the energy is Szoboszlai. So you lose what makes the team tick for Salah coming on.
Well, that's Arne Slot's job.
That's the point. Oh, Mosquera's coming off here.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Oh, that's a bugger, mate.
Oh, God. You're right.
Anyway, that's a good pin for that.
The injuries are just mounting and mounting. It looked like he kind of jarred his knee. Looked like he tried to continue. Admittedly, Timber got ready immediately. It's going from bad to worse, really. But we're Arsenal. We don't make excuses. We get on with it.
Not half.
I mean, we beat Real Madrid with a depleted side. We just need to keep going.
Did you get a medal for that? I can't remember.
No, I mean, you've seen your team win 2 trophies in your life. Behave, man.
Oh, yeah.
Behave, great. Great. Put it on the
key.
key card. That's amazing stuff. Thomas Frank's your manager. Your team's stinking up the place. Focus on
Your
Xavi
team stunk
Simons.
it up for years.
Did you win yesterday?
For
We're about to
years.
win.
No, actually.
Arsenal stinking up for years. Spurs will dream of that. You've never done what
I
we've
won a
done. I've seen my team win more trophies than you. Cool. You can have a year.
Not
We've had
European,
years.
though.
That's
Not European,
cool.
though. You're being correct there. Not European, though. Not European,
I've seen their team
Not
win
European trophies.
Yeah, that's
though.
great. Europa
Yeah.
League.
Not
Wow, that's
European
amazing.
trophies.
Have you won the Premier League? Have you won the Premier League? Have you won it twice at your ground?
Win the double.
Did you win the
actually.
Premier League at our ground with your
I
former
didn't,
captain,
no.
Sol Campbell?
I
Okay,
didn't,
cool.
no.
Focus. You've got Thomas
Focus on
Frank.
your game.
I am.
Focus
We're
on the fact
winning.
when I said
We're
that.
winning. We're winning.
Focus
We're
on the
winning.
fact
Do you
when
want me
I
to
said
show you
that.
how you can beat Newcastle away?
No,
So you
I
can go
think you
again
did a
next
good job
season?
considering
Okay,
when
to
my
dare
team
to
won.
dare is to do. Hopefully, you do better at the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorting
Oh, we'll look at
I'm only talking to teams who got 3 points. Who are
Oh,
about to get 3
really?
points.
I only talk to teams that win things.
Please,
Sam,
please.
Shall we have a chat? Because I only talk to teams that actually win trophies last season.
Oh, when we break.
Spurs were telling me about trophies.
Yeah, we won one.
Ridiculous.
We were actually just
Wow,
holders
you won
of it.
one. Great
You
stuff.
can't bring your
For once
second
in
place.
life.
You
How
can't
many-
bring your second
I don't
place
even want to do the
certificate to
silver
chat to
thing
me.
stuff. You
Don't
would
bring
love
your
to be
second
second
place.
place. Are you mad?
Oh, we
You
were for
support
years under
Spurs. You
Pochettino.
support Spurs.
Oh, you have
You're
Mustafi
talking
and
about
all of
Pochettino
them.
like he's like he's Pep Guardiola. He was a good manager.
So
nothing
strange,
more.
'cause Arteta
Nothing more.
currently
Arteta was a
is
manager,
that.
won the FA Cup,
Arteta
retired,
currently
and is
is
about to
that.
win the Premier League before you look.
Oh, about to. We're in
Behave.
November.
Behave. Yeah, I said behave.
we're
You
in-
would die for Mikel Arteta.
I wouldn't.
Focus on Xavi Simons. Focus
I
on Eze.
will.
Behave.
You're right.
Behave.
You're very worked up. I know
Behave.
Mascara's gone off, but please, chill, babe. Chill,
You
chill.
Mascara walks into your team. Walks into your team.
Chill.
I'm
Chill,
very
babes.
chilled. I just
Chill,
can't believe you're
baby.
doing all trophy. Wow.
You brought it up.
Wow. No, you mentioned trophies.
Pretty
I've
sure-
seen my team win, but you mentioned
just pointed out the Mascara went off the
Champions
pitch.
of Europe.
Crystal
I've
Palace
seen
are
my
taking
team
the
win
lead
more
away at
trophies in your
Burnley.
life.
Burnley nil.
Hey,
Crystal
Palace,
Palace
make a
1.
big.
In your life.
I didn't
40.
say anything.
In the 30 odd years.
Bro,
In the 30
I
odd
did not
years.
say
In the
anything.
30 odd years.
Chill.
Okay, I'm very chilled. I
Chill.
support Arsenal. I wouldn't be chilled if I
My
support Spurs with
gosh.
Thomas Frank.
Burnley nil. Crystal
How dare
Palace
you get
1.
out of my beautiful club.
44 minutes gone. Daniel Munoz has scored at the back post. There's a really, really
That
good
round.
cross that came in from the left-hand side, and Munoz peeled away at the back post and headed home from close range. So it's a lovely, lovely finish. Burnley nil, Crystal Palace 1. 44 minutes gone in that game. I told you about a Nottingham Forest goal. The Nottingham Forest goal was disallowed. They did have the ball in the back of the net. Igor scoring the goal there, but that goal is not going to count. So that means the goal's chalked off. Back all to square. So Burnley nil, Palace 1. Daniel Munoz, the goal scorer. Still Wolves nil, Nottingham Forest nil. Ollie Watkins, who's been out of form, hasn't he, for Aston Villa, has pulled a goal back on 46 minutes. So it's Brighton 2, Aston Villa 1. Arsenal still leading Brentford by a goal to nil. Liverpool versus Sunderland has just kicked off. And Leeds Chelsea as well is about to kick off at 8:15. So those two games are goalless. The 7:30 games then are about to approach half time. Ryan, big opportunity for Liverpool then today is to get another win and climb that table.
Important. I think it's just important to try and reset a little bit, and build a positive set of results, and however you do that, don't really mind, but, build a positive set of results to take into December, because, December is a bumper month where you can pick up points, but you can also lose lots of points and you can hemorrhage lots of points. And, CJ just been mentioning that around Arsenal in particular, the worries that he's got there potentially that, they need to kick on and continue in the same vein that they've been in. Liverpool equally need to have that sort of the bit between the teeth that they're going to, just try and rack up as much points as possible, because the table can change quite quickly. Liverpool started the day against West Ham 13th, and the end of the day in 8th, and they were a point off the top 5. So, it can dramatically flip, especially in that middle reaches at the moment, in those middle reaches at the moment.
Yes, tight. I think 5 points separated third to 15th before a ball was kicked yesterday. Florian Wirtz there, just giving the ball away in midfield for Liverpool. Good to see Joe Gomez back, I thought. Right, I think I was surprised that I thought he was going to play sooner. I thought instead of Kanate, but playing a right back, and I thought given he hasn't played in a long time, he did a pretty good job on Sunday.
Yeah, 2 reasons potentially for it. It's either one, Slot's tried to really embed that right back role to be a Bradley and a Frimpong, and he's stuck with Bradley, and he likes what a Bradley offers him, and he's reluctant to lean a little bit too more on the defensive side, or two, it's fitness. So I don't. It's one of the two, because you could easily make an argument for both. Gomez isn't renowned for staying fit throughout the season. The fella's made of biscuits at times, so he's. I think that's potentially like out of Slot's hands at points in the season, but I've been crying for him to come back in, especially because he offers you that stability on one side, so you can go and attack down the left. And there was lots of recovery runs that he made on Sunday against West Ham in particular. I just thought he's mopping that up, he's tidying that up. He offers a little bit more experience. He offers height at set pieces. That's something that we need in that side that just offers us a different flavour, and it's a step change away from the performances where we have lost a lot of games,
So the 7:30 games then are getting to half-time then in the Premier League as Arsenal 1, Brentford 0 at half-time. Mikel Merino scoring the goal for Arsenal, a nice header. Brentford had a big chance, didn't they, just after Arsenal took the lead, a header from Kevin Schade, which was well saved by the goalkeepers. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 1 is nearly at half-time. Brighton found themselves 2-0 up early on, Van Heck scoring and a Pau Torres own goal. Ollie Watkins did pull one back before half-time for Aston Villa. Crystal Palace losing against Manchester United on the weekend, a 1-up away at Burnley. Munoz scoring the goal on the stroke of half-time, and it's still Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Wolves still searching for their first 3 points of this Premier League season. The 8:15 games are Liverpool, Sunderland goalless. Leeds, Chelsea as well is also goalless. CJ, what did you make of that first half performance?
We're handling our business, man. We've dominated possession. Obviously, we've got the goal. We've had some half chances that we haven't exploited. To be fair, Brentford aren't just sitting back. They're not really causing trouble apart from the effort where they crack the bar. But I do kind of want another goal. Not necessarily because I feel like we're going to concede. It's just I think we need that kind of just a bit of breathing space, because as the longer the game goes on, because of the changes that they've made into the side, they're going to bring on their more first teamers and simply go for it. I like what Benjamin White's offered in his first start in a while. I think Odegaard, he's been good. I think the man of the first half for me would probably be Madueke. He's been purring, his trickery's been good. It's a good platform, especially to bounce back after drawing. It feels like a loss against Chelsea and going into Aston Villa on Saturday. So.
Yeah, so Arsenal 1 up there. Liverpool started off, as you'd imagine, with the majority of possession there. See Dominic Szoboszlai-Ryan coming quite central this time today to try and pick up the ball. So maybe a slightly different role for him, or expect him to go out to that right-hand side.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, you do have a lot of fluent build-up with Vert and Szoboszlai. That was certainly evidence on Sunday. So I think possibly you're going to see. They like either build from a 3 or they build from a 2, and that allows Gravenberch to drive through the middle. So, I think they'll take a little bit of time to try and unlock them. And look, they weren't at the free flowing best. I think it's important to say against West Ham. They weren't creating chances for fun, but they were far more solid. They were restricting them to far less, big chances. They didn't have any big chances really, from what I can remember. One big chance towards the end that Bowen curled wide. But outside of that, they didn't look vulnerable throughout the entire game. And I think that's the big plus that you take, is that it felt markedly different from the other performances that we've seen. But it only really is going to be different if it carries on against Sunderland.
Well, many people thought Chelsea would go to Leeds this evening and have no problem at all. Leeds have started against Leeds to give them the lead against Chelsea. So Leeds 1, Chelsea 0 in that big game at Ellen Road. Daniel Farke's under pressure. Chelsea, can they close the gap on Arsenal after drawing with them on the weekend? They're off to the worst possible start this evening. They have, though, got Cole Palmer to come off the bench for Chelsea if needed this evening. So, CJ, that was never going to be easy, was it? And Aston Villa as well have just equalised on the stroke of half-time. A really good game of the Amex, and Ollie Watkins, who had gone into this game in a wretched run of struggling for goals, has just scored right on the stroke of half-time. So as Brighton 2, Brentford 2, long throw comes out to Morgan Rogers, who plays an outstanding diagonal ball over the top to Watkins, who runs onto it, and it's a really, really good finish. The pass from Rogers is good. I should say one thing. I'm surprised that, Ollie Watkins, to his credit, runs onto the ball and puts the ball in the back there. He does really, really well. But I think from CJ, from a Brighton point of view there, that's far too easy. One long ball and they're through. It's
terrible. Like, it's on the stroke of half-time. As much as it's a great ball from Rodgers, and I'm sure Thomas Tuchel's been watching, it's 3 against 1. The numbers are in Brighton's favour. It's abysmal, really. And, you've had the 2-goal lead. You're now finding yourselves level. It's not gone to plan for Brighton. Credit to Villa.
Ryan, have Liverpool started at Anfield?
Not said the way I like, to be honest with you. Still finding the feet a little bit, to be honest with you. It's a bit ragged, but there's nothing particularly alarming about the first 8 minutes. It's just again, another awkward side to play, I think, on a Wednesday night. Team that are in form, that, you know, can certainly throw a few punches of their own. And I think they're just finding the way a little bit here. So Sunderland having a little bit of possession. They just lost it in the final third. Comes to Robertson. So
Bosley! Oh, long range shot. And
more intriguing than it actually was.
Abby, I mean, I guess Reece James, you know, they're managing his minutes, but the back four Chelsea have picked this evening. So Cucurella stays at left back. He's moved Chalobah over to right back, so there's no Gusto. And then there's no Fofana, so he's brought in Tosin and Badiashile.
Yeah.
That just feels like, so he's made it's 3 positional changes to the back four. And I don't know, you go to a place like Leeds, all the cliches. It's going to be loud, it's going to be difficult. It just feels like it's a lot of changes to make to 4 defenders in the space of a couple of days. I'm surprised he's done that.
I did expect him to make changes, I'll be honest with you, but it's one of those places that you can probably think you can get in and get out and underestimate them. Yeah. That will be at their own, you know, downfall kind of thing, because there is this weird, there is a bit of a hatred between Leeds and Chelsea.
Oh, there's a rivalry.
There's a real rivalry.
And way before we were born, but
in terms of Leeds, like, they will be bang up for this type of game. In a way, it's slightly disrespectful from Chelsea making the amount of change they've changed, but I do understand having the week that they had against Barcelona. And then
I get that. That's true.
I expected that they were going to make some changes, and also when it comes to Reece James, managing his minutes is so important.
It's not even Reece James. I thought he could have played Gusto at right back.
He could have played Gusto at right back.
You play one of Chalobah and Fofana alongside one of Tosin and you know what I mean? It's almost like picking.
Fofana's not even on the bench.
Yeah, so maybe there might be an injury there.
It might be another, like with Reece James, it might be another one.
But yeah, I don't know, it just feels like a...
it does, but I still think that Chelsea will have enough. And at the end of the day, they've got such a big squad. You've got to utilise the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
When's there ever going to be a good fixture to do it? And there's so many games over this Christmas period. You just got to do it. But I think Chelsea have got enough quality there. But it will definitely give them a shock. 1-0 down.
It's João Pedro playing off the lap for Chelsea. Esteval from the right. Gittins on the left. Cole Palmer is on the bench, though, for Chelsea this evening, alongside Pedro Neto, Reece James and Alejandro Garnacho are also on the bench. Then just confirmation of half-times in our 7:30 games. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Brighton 2, Villa 2. Brighton were 2 up, but 2 goals from Ollie Watkins has brought that game back level. Palace are 1 up away at Burnley, and the only game that's goalless from our early games is Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0. And again, a reminder, Leeds are leading Chelsea by a goal 2-0. Ryan, are we seeing in patches, in glimpses, promise from Florian Wirtz? It feels as if he's getting closer to maybe showing everyone how good he actually is.
Wednesday was Sunday. He was terrific. He really was against West Ham. I just felt that he was the best player on the part the first half. Second half didn't maybe have as much of an impact, but in the goal he absolutely did. He was the ball before the ball, and when he was given freedom and license, and which he's going to get in this team now, it feels like he can perform, and it's obviously a different position that he's been playing this season as well. He's experimented him in the middle, and that didn't work in the 3 as well. And then he played him on the left against Real Madrid, and that seemed to offer something different. But again, he still wasn't quite comfortable. I don't think he wanted him there. He wants to play him back in the 10. So they're always going to move back to a point where he's going to play in the 10. But I think you can see all of the qualities of him. It's just
it's coming, isn't it, Ryan?
Can he do it on a consistent basis in the Premier League? And can he do it where he's adding goals and assists to his game on a constant basis as well? That's the only thing that you want to see. But everything is there. All the qualities are there. You know, it'd be ridiculous to deny that. I think he's gained or added 2.5 lean muscle as well, hasn't he? 2.5 kg lean muscle, something like that. So I think there's a sense of like he's really working hard on trying to adapt to the physicality off the field as well, and that seemed to be helping him against West Ham. But it's all about doing it over the course of a couple of games, isn't it? You can't just judge it off one game.
Yeah, that's much better there from Alexis McAllister, really aggressive in midfield to win the ball back.
As well against West Ham.
He's another player, right? You know, and just going back to our Mo Salah, I don't want to go back to the whole conversation. But what I want to make also perfectly clear is that I would say, apart from Dominic Szoboszlai this season, I think they've all been absolutely nowhere near their best. It's not just Mo Salah; it's all of them, right? Is that fair? Apart from maybe Ekitike at the start. You know, they've all been pretty below par. And I'd also say it's the 3 in midfield, the 2 in midfield. I mean, Gravenberch and McAllister between them last season were absolutely faultless. They've both been well below their best this season.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think they have been well under par. And I think it's a sense of, that's why when you get so many, if you get one or two that are underperforming, you ask questions of those two players. If you get 9 or 10 that are underperforming, for me, that question then goes to the manager.
Has to be.
Because it's about the setup and it is about, what are you trying to do to utilise the best strengths? And I don't think we're getting the best strengths out of Wirtz or Isak. And even Ekitike, he was bright and he scored goals. But the thing I thought about Ekitike was he was doing everything himself. He was the ingenuity. He just thought, I'm going to pick the ball up, I'm going to run 4-5 yards forward and take on two players, and then I'll play it down the channel or I'll have a shot. And he provided that electricity, and that was brilliant. But there wasn't anything tactical about what he was doing. There wasn't anything set up to help his game.
Going back to the recruitment, right? Lots of players come in the summer. Did you not almost feel, for me, watching Liverpool game by game early in that season, and as the season's gone on, it almost is a little bit like Arne Slot went into pre-season training on day one, didn't know who was coming in, and almost game by game on the go tried to work out his best team, his best system. It almost felt like he never really was sure the balance of the midfield, where Wirtz plays. He was almost game by game trying to, almost make it up a little bit as you go along,
Yeah, to a degree, but also Richard Hughes was in the job 18 months, and I know obviously the Jota situation would have exacerbated things, and it would have meant that they would have had to go for another attacker that they weren't thinking about a little bit sooner than they probably were thinking about. But he had 18, there would have been conversations for 18 months about who did they want to bring in. This stuff doesn't just happen in the summer where they go, I'm going to bring in that player.
Do you think with Isak and Ekitike, do you think they knew from minute one?
Leeds 1-0 up against Chelsea here.
I did say that 5 minutes.
Oh, did you?
sorry.
I was so fixed in on the...
apologies. Yeah. No. Maybe I didn't say it loud enough. Do you think?
I didn't see that.
Do you think from minute one they knew they wanted both Isak and Ekitike, or do you think the way the summer panned out, they kind of adjusted on the go?
I think there is again, it's all speculating. There's two ways of looking at it. There's one, you think, well, the loss of Jota.
Oh, sorry, right. It should have been 2-0. Oh, what a big chance that is there for Patrick Strauch. He remains 100%. It's again another. How many times I mentioned chance from a corner in the hour of the show?
Big chance.
Great in-swinging corner, and Patrick Strauch, as Ryan rightly says, is completely unmarked. He's about 6 yards out. His header almost comes off his shoulder into the turf and goes wide of the post. That's a big chance there, Ryan.
You take that in this moment in the game, 15 minutes in, you go 2-0 up at Ellen Road. That is it shakes you, doesn't it? At the very core, that would shake Chelsea at the very core. So, that's you have to. You always say you got to take your chances against sides.
And Daniel Farke's a man under pressure, isn't he? Right. There's reports this week that this game and Liverpool on Saturday, if he doesn't get points from those games, he's going to get the sack.
Yeah, but Liverpool will be interesting as well. To see what type of team turns up against Leeds after a week where we don't know how they're going to go into that. That's why tonight's so important. But Sunderland are a rough test, and I think that suits them well against Leeds. I think they're going to offer them an awkward challenge, as we've been saying all night around in terms of the type of setup that they do. They can press Sunderland. They're quite direct that they want to be. I've been quite impressed actually by the way Reggie Labree's adapted in games as well. So, they do offer a different kind of threat tonight. So, and it'll be a good precursor to Leeds as well. But going back to the point about Ekitike and Isak, I do think that there was probably conversations when, obviously, the sad loss of Jota, that meant that, they had to bring another forward. But equally, they probably thought maybe Ekitike's not going to hit the ground running the same way because he's still adjusting and coming across from a new
young
league.
Kid.
He's a young kid. He wasn't even in the France squad before, there was conversations of him being at Liverpool. So, they've probably thought he's developmental talent. We've paid that much because we think he's got the ceiling of it, and he's sat in a couple of years' time, and we'll probably need him in a front line that'll be reshaped when Salah goes. But I think there's an argument that they don't think that they wouldn't have thought he would have hit the ground running quite as well as he did. But also, we say that he had a great spark at the start of the season. He was in a few games, in my point, quite ineffective. He didn't really do much in a few games as well, which is the signs of a player who's young, who's learning on the job, and is leading the line for Liverpool.
So then the 7:30 games in the Premier League, 4 games at 7:30, all just about to get underway then in the second half. Reminder of the scores: Arsenal leading Brentford by a 1-0, a really good header from Mikel Merino giving Arsenal the lead in that game, looking to extend their lead at the top of the table. Arsenal have won 6 of their last 7 home Premier League matches, including their last 3 in a row. Brentford winning just 4 of their last 23 Premier League London derby matches, but a 1-0, Brentford are still in the game. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 2. That's 5th versus 4th in the Premier League. Brighton were 2-0 up before a brace from Ollie Watkins. Good to see Ollie Watkins back in the goals. He's had a really tricky start to the season. I was reading in the papers this morning, Unai Emery saying he's had a knee problem that he's been playing with for the last year, and he's been having to sort of manage his minutes in training. So maybe that's a little bit of a reason as to why possibly CJ, he maybe just hasn't been at his best in terms of that crispness leading the line. But starting tonight, he got 2 goals. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 2. Crystal Palace leading Burnley away from home by a goal, 2-0. Where's Kwaku when you need him? How's this? I've got the stat for Kwaku. Crystal Palace have lost just 1 of their last 9 evening kickoffs in the Premier League. We know that Kwaku
Did it say specific kickoff time? Is it 8:15?
It says here, do you know what it says? To cover all bases, it says in brackets 7 p.m. or later. So basically any time after 7.
I think we should read that to him again.
Whether it's 7:30, 7:45, 8 or 8:15, they don't do particularly well.
What about 8:30?
Post 7 p.m. basically, yeah. Post 7 p.m.
Okay.
When they're not on telly. When they're not on telly.
Well, actually, all these games are on telly at the moment, aren't they? And the only game that's goalless from the 7:30 games is Wolves, Nottingham Forest. That's 0-0. Nottingham Forest looking to win consecutive away Premier League games for the first time since January last season. Wolves are winless in their last 8 home Premier League matches. Leeds are leading Chelsea by a 0-0. Leeds have won just 1 of their last 9 Premier League games against Chelsea. And Liverpool-Sunderland is goalless. Sunderland are winless in their last 18 away league games against Liverpool. CJ, Arsenal-Brentford has just got back underway. That second goal, to state the absolute obvious, CJ, is imperative. Don't shout at me.
Yeah, it'd be lovely if we get a second.
I never know when you're going to come for me, you know. Sometimes the most innocuous question, you're off. You're ready to go.
Man, sometimes I've got my Arsenal badge on, man. You're going to have to forgive me. But I don't think... do you know what? It's a weird one. I mean, I might look silly if they go and score now, but I'm actually comfortable with a 1-goal lead. That being said, 2-0, it means we can breathe. It means we can start building towards the Aston Villa game. It probably means, you know, we could live more comfortably, because Brentford, surely they'd have to ask themselves at 2 goals down, would you rather lose 3-1 or 2-0 and make the game kind of open? I must admit, I did think Brentford, regardless of the changes, were going to offer a bit more to us, but so far so good. We just need to manage the game now and do nothing silly.
Ryan, how Liverpool started in the first 20 minutes? Plenty of possession, but no chances yet?
No, not really. Really isn't much to talk about. Isak had a chance outside the area where he flicked past 2 and then curled it well over the bar. So that was a sign of him trying to have an impact on the game, but it blazed over by about 20 yards. I think, you know, the focus at the moment is shutting things out at the back. People always say this is funny. I listen back to 4 or 5 games ago, and it would be like, you got to shut things out at the back first and then build from there. And they are literally doing that. Fundamentally, that's what they're doing. They're shutting things out the back and they're trying to build from there. But I'd imagine quite quickly there will be calls for, we need more electricity, we need to see more of this, we need to see more of that. So they're probably going to go through a phase, I think, where they just need to win the game. Ultimately, that's fundamentally over the next couple of games. They just need to win.
I think it's just going back to basics. I think
exactly.
that is just exactly what Liverpool and Arne Slot needed to do. He tried little variations of it. You saw moments of it, but he still kept losing. Sometimes when everything is just going against you, 9 out of 12, you just had to rip it up and say, right, let's just get the fundamentals right first.
But that's where the narrative starts to shift, isn't it? Because if you look at Slot, 9 games out of 12 he's lost, right? And then you have games where you might win 3 or 4, 1-0 or something like that, or 2-1. There's a chance here, Gomez, Clipson and
Yeah, Verts started really lively, I think, Ryan.
Yeah, he's buzzing about a bit, isn't he? I think that fans start losing the memories. Your memory's quite short. You start losing the memories of last year and think, well, we've lost. They have lost 9 and 12. They're trying to stop the rot, put the bandages over the wounds, and then build forward from there. But you don't have the time, sadly, to do that. He's going to have to try and do both, really. He's going to have to try and shut it out quite quickly and still start to, ignite the likes of Verts and Isak.
I think at the minute...
Shots for Verts! Come on, Verts, first goal!
Oh, there was a
Didn't go in.
No, it didn't
That
go
didn't
in.
go in.
There was a couple of ricochets. Florian Wirtz went through, and from close range, he just pushed the ball wide. Sunderland, really poor play by the goalkeeper into Gravenberch, who played it into Wirtz. Quick pass to Szoboszlai, who gave it back to Wirtz. A little bit of fortune the way the ball fell to him off a couple of plays, but the goalkeeper, Roofs, does come out to do well.
Seems like
to smother it. Good save by the goalkeeper. Still Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
Just need something to go his way.
Yeah, and I think that seems like a good partnership, that Szoboszlai and Wirtz. That certainly could be something. But the chances that Liverpool have created so far have been of Sunderland's making it. It's Roofs who kicks it out, probably about halfway to the mid-territory of the Sunderland half. They lose the ball back. Liverpool 3-4 short passes, and then they'll have a chance from there, really. So that's what the game looks like at the moment. Liverpool have managed to really shut down anything from a Sunderland perspective. One chance where they hit it down the channel and across the 6-yard area, but it feels like that's where Liverpool are probably going to get a bit of joy, is the press in the middle of the park.
Yeah, so an early change for Burnley in the second half in their game at home to Crystal Palace. Jakob Brun-Larsen is on for the host. Back underway as well in the game at Molineux. I think we're just waiting for a shot on target in that game, let alone a goal. Arsenal won their last 8 Premier League games, went ahead at half-time, but an aggregate score of 22. Although Brentford in the opening 5 minutes of this game in the second half have had a couple of corners, and they're about to get another corner. By the way, Abby, Leeds in this game at Ellen Road have started really aggressively on the front foot, as you would expect, in Chelsea's face to try and make it difficult for them.
Yeah, I expected nothing less. However, Chelsea
are on the
attack right now.
Leeds always do this.
I wouldn't expect anything other than that type of performance. I think the confidence that they would have picked up despite losing the game against Manchester City the other day, them just getting themselves back into
brutal,
it.
wasn't it?
Brutal. But at the end of the day, this is the Premier League, and that is what you want to see, and you've got to be at your best. So, yeah, but either way, it's a confidence boost to them. They'll feel they can get something out of this, a bit of change out of it. Brentford have looked much better in the opening 5 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, Arsenal defended that corner really well. I think it was Ben White who won the header. And also, again, we touched on it, Brentford played a slightly weaker team, didn't they, today? So, chance for in the box here.
Stand up nowhere.
That's Aya out to Utara, and that's going to be another Brentford corner.
Okay.
I do find it really strange that they didn't start. I do find that really
I mean,
He's
again,
a man in form.
Yeah, from the quotes from Keith
It's got to be
Andrews.
a fitness.
The quotes from Keith Andrews before the game was basically, we're all playing lots of games.
Cool.
My interpretation was, we're playing Arsenal away. I think we're going to lose. Therefore, I'm going to rest my best players
play
for the
against
game again.
Spurs.
Oh, yeah, no,
Fair.
I'm serious. No, because he thinks we've got a better chance of beating Spurs on Saturday as opposed to Arsenal tonight, which is possibly true. But again, Nathan Collins, their best defender.
I'd say that's fairly
Henderson,
accurate.
Damsgaard and Igor Thiago, all on the bench for Brentford. I guess the positive is they've still got them to come on in the next possibly 15, 20
Bring
minutes. But there is chance for Isak. Hit it, Isak. That's a really good block. And David Raya this time comes and collects that ball against his former side really well. Oh, Aston Villa have a chance there. Morgan Rogers getting down the left-hand side, whipping in a really good, dangerous ball across the face of goal. But Brighton did really, really well to clear that. So Burnley 0, Palace 1, 51 gone. Wolves 0, Forest 0. Brighton 2, Villa 2. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Leeds leading Chelsea by a goal to 0 as Robertson whips in a dangerous ball from the left-hand side. But Alderete did well to read it, chests it back to the goalkeeper. It remains at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0. Do you not think one of the great things about this season is like trying to actually work out where teams are and where teams are going to finish almost feels pretty much impossible because of the closeness of that kind of pretty much the whole table by the top two in the bottom three.
It's so early. I mean, let's review it after Christmas. At the minute,
got a long way to go to get.
We've got
to
a long.
Christmas,
I know we do, but I feel like you see what teams are made of over this Christmas period. Come January, then we'll know a lot more. It will tell us a lot more. Things will start to separate in that league.
But it's a question for you though on that, because were we saying the same about Liverpool last year? Were we saying it? Because I genuinely believe from the conversations I was having at the time, everybody was saying to me they've won the league.
How many points clear were you at Christmas?
At Christmas,
because we were still talking about a Chelsea in a title race this very time last year.
Average
not at Christmas, because I remember on the 22nd Chelsea could have been top of the beat.
So it was a lot closer.
It would have been really.
It would have been a lot tighter. And by the time that we get to the 22nd, we don't know what could happen.
No, but it was even around this time. I remember people saying that the title's done.
Well,
I said it.
Those types of conversations. So I'm just interested in terms of because the other thing I was thinking about is on Sunday. Just to put the Arsenal perspective forward for a second, Chelsea won the game. They won the game. They drew. They
captured
with
the
10 men, and they were leading. And I remember, obviously, Arsenal went to City at the Etihad last year, and they had 10 men and they were leading, and then they were pulled back. But there was a lot of criticism, wasn't there, really, the way that they dealt with that. Whereas from a Chelsea perspective, there seems to be a lot of praise over the weekend, that they've done an amazing job. Now, I think the counter to that, though, CJ, is that the way they performed with 10 men was far more attacking, seemed to offer a different kind of threat than Arsenal were doing, because they just sat in the...
I hear that, yeah. Sorry to cut you, Ray.
30-40.
But look at the lineup. Look at, not that as I've made clear several times throughout the couple of hours we've been here, yeah. I make no excuses for the injuries and things. Go and look at the City team that we played with 10 men. Go and look at the Arsenal side that went out there. And I get it. At the end of the day, I do believe it was a great performance from Chelsea and stuff. I just find it, like, the narrative around it funny. I'm not even trying to do all this, there's 1 rule for Arsenal and 10 for the others. But the nonsense and the language that's come out with Chelsea have been so amazing, which I think the game plan was, and bullish, all this bullish talk. I find it quite scandalous, if I'm honest, because both teams drew, literally.
And that's why I'm interested, especially from this perspective, because let's have it right. Liverpool had a gap last year, and there were definitely sounds and noises at this time of the year.
Yeah, I said you lot wrapped up this time last year.
The league's wrapped up.
It's actually, it was.
I'm intrigued why people aren't saying the same.
This time last year, I've just been doing my research.
Must have been 7
on the 3rd of December, Liverpool were top.
Yeah.
With 34 points.
Yeah.
Arsenal and Chelsea were 2nd and 3rd on 25 points.
Right, okay.
And this season, currently, if we don't take this into consideration today, obviously there's a 2-point gap.
Yeah.
So
but
I think you were
was it
you
more
were
about,
already.
it was less points. It was
So
performances.
7 to 9 points around there.
It felt like like it was less points and it was performances. And then obviously December, you look at the snapshot in December, and it wasn't that. It was far less than that, as you said, because Chelsea could have went top on the 22nd.
That is from the 3rd of December 2024. So that's why this time last year, obviously, look how much it separated over that Christmas period. So let's see what happens.
But I felt like that was the sentiment that carried right through. I don't think anyone said in December, "Oh no, the league's now right back on." I don't ever feel like that was the case. It was just a consistent narrative that this is the feeling was that Liverpool were going to win the league, and obviously that was proven right. But I'm just intrigued why that's not being carried forward from an Arsenal perspective.
No one's running away with it.
It feels like Arsenal are of those teams.
But I feel like everyone does agree with that. I don't really. I haven't spoken to anybody that said that they don't think Arsenal are going to win it. I've even sat there and said,
it's too early. You said it's just too early.
Well, because you've got to keep with it. Well, because people pegged it back a little bit, and then there was 5 points or there's 2 points or whatever. If you are 6 points, anything over 6 or 7 points, then you will win it with a canter. A few weeks ago, we were sitting there talking about that you could win it at a canter. But it just happens that City have managed to pull themselves back into it, and Chelsea are in and around it. So Christmas will tell us all we need to know, whether or not we do have a title race, or if it is a carbon copy of something that was the same as last year.
When do you think we get the best gauge, Ab?
My honest gauge of if we will, I think Christmas tells you a lot. The Christmas fixtures in general.
Whoever's top on Christmas.
No, not whoever's top on Christmas, but Chelsea tend to have quite a dodgy Christmas run historically.
Yeah.
They don't tend to do really well over it. Historically, Arsenal tend to fall away around February time.
This is why I said February. If we're still,
so I feel like to make a judgment on that, probably between now and Feb.
Right.
But I still think that we will get a much clearer picture of what's going on in terms of our City in a proper title race, our Chelsea in a proper title race.
So more so what every team
over
looks
Christmas,
like.
yeah. Whereas I think it's still too early. There's a lot of games that come thick and fast. So until we really get to that after this period,
we shouldn't forget City traditionally. Are a team that
always start late and then come from behind.
When they click into gears, they're a different animal. City.
Nottingham Forest had a really good free kick. Nico Williams trying to be the goalkeeper at his near post. He was.
Oh, what a chance! Sunderland with a shot outside the area, about 30 yards out. He's hit it on his right peg. Alisson sort of looked at the flight of the ball, I think slightly misjudged it and palmed it onto the bar.
That would have rattled you, wouldn't it?
I tell you what, it rattled Alisson. It doesn't rattle me.
And not much rattles Alisson, does it, right?
No, he looked absolutely dead on his feet there.
So that remains goalless there at Anfield. One of my favourite players to watch in the league this season is Minter at Brighton. Every time he gets that ball down the right-hand side, wants to be quick, wants to be direct. He's causing Aston Villa's left-back, Ian Maatson, all sorts of problems. Chelsea in the last 10 minutes or so have just started to get a little bit of a grip of the game at Anfield. Oh, and yeah, it was a long-range shot. And Alisson almost, he wasn't quite sure whether to...
Trey Human, the FA, just blasts it at Alisson. It's right at him, to be honest.
Also the power maybe.
Just a little bit above his head, about five yards, a couple of inches above his head, and he's palm covers some
pushes it onto the bar.
Stretch, and he's palmed it onto the bar, but he's done it in quite a nonchalant way. So it feels to me
probably
that
changed his mind.
Yeah, I don't think he realised how much power was on the shot initially, and I think he's got away with one there, to be honest with you.
Also fortunate that the ball didn't bounce off the Sunderland striker that was literally
exactly. You know that's another thing as well. Like sometimes you do need things to go for you in these runs, and that's probably a good side from a Liverpool perspective that they have scraped away with that one there, because there's been moments in this spell where you think, they've had a good 20 and then they just get punched in the nose by a brilliant goal
Substitutions for Brentford.
Big chance.
Well, here come the Brentford boys, Igor Thiago and Mikel Damsgaard and John Henderson are coming on after an hour. Yeah. No danger, Keith Andrews. Honestly, we're all good, Keith.
Don't worry about it.
You resting place for your lot on Saturday.
Don't worry about us.
Yeah,
We've won 3 games in a whole year.
Honestly, he's thinking
you will win. Don't worry.
Yeah. You should rest place for the Spurs game on Saturday.
That can be your day off.
Hey.
And also Arsenal are going to respond though with 2 good substitutions themselves, because Eze and Saka are going to come on for Arsenal. So 5 decent players about to enter the pitch. What did you make of Madueke, CJ, in the first hour? How did he do?
Honestly, it's like he's never left. I think I still have him down as the player that stood out for me the most. I think he did very good. I think it's unfortunate that he didn't get on the score sheet. In the first half, the ball just got nicked off his toe by Rico Henry. He's done well. He's done very well. And like one of you said earlier, this is why we bought him, so that we can flirt with starting Saka and resting Saka. Madueke's had a very positive game. Long may it continue.
I'll be honest. I was surprised that Arteta wanted Madueke. I thought for the money that he paid for him, I thought they could have been better.
You're not alone. Me as well.
But I have to say to him, fair play. And also, Arsenal's recruitment in the Arteta era has been, certainly in the last kind of 3-4 years.
In the last 3-4 years,
pretty faultless, hasn't it?
It's got a lot better. We definitely had some L's like Pablo Marie and the whole Willian saga, but since then, even if you don't understand the signing at the point,
did Willian play under Arteta?
Yeah, he got him for free. The most expensive free transfer I've seen him.
That doesn't even feel real, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or Sterling as well. That was
Sterling as well. Sterling
is not even. That is what a sad.
I think
but it's not sad. Sorry, he achieved so much at such a young age.
No, sad. The sad is in the way that he's kind of
specifically Arsenal.
Well, no, I meant almost now. The fact that he's in the kind of the
then I'm with Abby. It's sad how it's kind of changed for him.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sad to see.
I just think that when you have such a brilliant career at such a young age, you just sometimes just run out of steam. Like your legs just run out. He's won everything there is to win, really. Like
he's on big money as well, so I don't think he was flooded.
I mean, sad in the sense of there's a professional footballer
that we still don't get to see.
I feel sorry for him. He's not playing games,
but yeah. So Brentford then have finally made those changes, bringing on a couple of their top players. Eze replaced Gabriel Martinelli, Saka replaced Madueke, Igor Thiago on for Schade, Henderson on for Janel, and Damsgaard on for Jensen. A ball into the box, picks out Eze at the back post, back across to Saka. Nearly an Eze assist, Saka goal as soon as they're both on the pitch. Ryan, we haven't tested the goalkeeper, have we?
No, we haven't really, mate.
Chance was one.
Yeah, there was 4. Just in the shot count there, it was 4. The first 4 were Liverpool. The last 4 have been Sunderland. So it's very equal. And I think both teams are trying to find something that they're going to stick with and run with. To be honest with you, because I don't think neither. They're just creating. It's quite scrappy. That's probably the fairest description. It's just a very, very scrappy game, and that's where you would imagine. Either the tactics of Slot in the second half have got to be a level up to try and change this.
Bring on Mo Salah.
You need the quality in your team to then shine through. That's in these types of games. That's how you get over the line. To be honest with you.
Chelsea still trailing away at Leeds by a goal to 0. Cole Palmer, though, on the bench for Chelsea. Mikel Damsgaard now, first chance to run into space for Brentford. He's got Otara to his left-hand side. He's got Curry to his right-hand side. Has this been a little bit of an un-Arsenal-like performance, CJ, in the sense of you're watching it more than I am, obviously, but it looks like it's not complete control from Arsenal so far. I mean, Brentford having moments.
No, Brentford have come out of the blocks firing in the second half. I do think there's an element of fatigue, but we've done this since the start of the season. We're more than happy to let you have the ball and box smart. Sometimes you've got to take punches. I must admit, I am looking at Mikel Arteta. Marino's had a good game. He looks a bit spent. Can we get Gyökeres on?
For Gyökeres, yeah.
Can we get Gabriel Jesus on? He was on the bench against Chelsea. He didn't play. Probably he's only got 10 minutes in the tank now. Oh, my days. You see, we're starting to get tired legs. We need to inject some legs, man. We need Gyökeres on the pitch immediately.
Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Aston Villa really pushing hard for the third goal. What's that, CJ?
No, Burnley could have been in there. I think it hit the post. I just saw it at the corner of my eye.
Yeah, that would be a... these are the sort of games, aren't they, CJ, for Burnley, when they're down at the bottom of the table in the relegation zone struggling. These home games against teams like Crystal Palace.
That's why you have to make it count.
They're the must-win games, aren't they?
Yeah,
really?
exactly. They're essentially 6 pointers if you want survival in the Premier League.
Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0, Leeds 1, Chelsea 0, Palace still leading at Burnley by 1-0. Wolves, Forest is goalless. This feels like a huge game for both teams, but in particular Forest. They were just outside the relegation zone. They'd have been looking at this as a game they really should be winning. Brighton 2, Villa 2. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Was that going to be a free kick to Arsenal? I think it is. And a yellow card as Sunderland are going to launch a long ball into the box from inside their own half. The Virgil van Dijk deals with something I liked, Ryan, on Sunday. You were there, so you would have heard it. I love the away fans, the match-going travelling fans chanting the name of Arne Slot, because that would have meant a lot to him, wouldn't it, in this tough time?
Yeah, I think that is their job in many ways, to try and get us over this hump. Is that you don't want to create. As soon as they start to see that fraction of, you get a handful of minority of supporters shouting Slot out, and it creates then this sort of unsettled nature. It's like when you start booing as well, at half time in games, or after the game, and ultimately obviously results sometimes determine it. But when you start to get that adds another weight of pressure to a side. So I'm really pleased that they've tried to rise above their frustrations of the last couple of weeks.
I mean, if you look at Thomas Frank, I mean, that's something that is going to just add so much fuel to the fire there. Oh. And they've completely turned it around at the Amex Stadium. Unbelievable. Brighton were leading Aston Villa 2-0, and Aston Villa have completely turned it around. Onana's the goal scorer. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 3.
Come on.
Oh, no penalty. He's dived.
Have a look, ref.
Nah, he's dived.
I wouldn't say dive. There's contact. Marino's not a diver.
Mikel Merino has gone down under a challenge of Kelleher. And my initial gut reaction was that he possibly looked for the foul as opposed to maybe got the contact. The Aston Villa third goal was come from a corner. Matty Cash whipping in a corner. Ooh. And
What's the keeper doing again?
He's just allowed Onana to make a run to the back post. And yeah, the goalkeeper...
What's he doing?
You almost think goalkeeper's got to come and punch that. Onana's allowed to pull away to the back post, and Onana does well, the big man, heading the ball into the turf, into the back of the net. But you think from those corners that are constantly coming into that 6-yard box, the goalkeepers have got... You see goalkeepers almost trying to... They more want to have a fight with their mate like that. Don't do that. Try and punch the ball, deal with it, clatter the ball. Don't just try and wrestle and not go for the ball. It gives someone a free
header. Don't get twisted. He's not alone. Like, the keeper's not alone, but it's poor. He's got no bearing of his surroundings. He's not commanding his area, and that's why the ball's gone in the back of the net. Poor, really, from Brighton.
Are you short on sleep, Ryan, or something?
I think you would have got sent off, mate.
No. Do you know what I mean?
Last night.
Am I wrong, though, in terms
St. James's Park for sustained holding?
Am I wrong, though, Ryan, in terms of what I'm
No, not at all, mate. No,
keepers have got to come and clatter and win.
Spot on.
Thank you. I just thought I'd do a little bit of, acting, just to show people at home what I was talking about,
I knew Rory Jennings.
Rory Jennings?
Yeah, he was in EastEnders, wasn't he?
Shout out Rory, man.
You not know that? Yeah, he was. He was in EastEnders.
What's that got to do with anything, though?
Well, just saying.
Oh, acting, sorry.
Acting, just saying.
Yeah, I did know Rory.
Drawn upon some of those
I did know Rory
influences.
He's a man of many talents, isn't he, Rory Jennings, eh?
If you could be on a soap, Sam, what would it be?
You probably... The EastEnders filming studio is like 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I'd probably just go to EastEnders.
So you've chosen proximity.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, I have done, yeah. You're right. Have you been up since 5 o'clock this morning?
No, mate, I'm fine. I'm running off fumes, lads.
I'm surprised you've agreed to do talkSPORT goals this evening from, honestly, when you got the City at 8, but you got talkSPORT goals at 7.
Well, from your perspective, where you're shaking me there, that's what Jay did to me earlier, you see.
Oh, what, to try and get you going? Look at that dive from Mikel Merino, CJ.
I don't know. I don't have him down as... I didn't see it, so I can't comment. From my angle, it looked like a penalty, but we'll play on. The ref's allowed to make his decisions.
Yeah, it wasn't a penalty. The referees, as rightly...
Shout out Mikel Merino, man.
That was very football manager-esque.
I know.
Statement, that, wasn't it? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I learned that from Wenger. If I didn't see it, if that was Spurs on TV, I definitely saw it. I didn't see that. I don't know what happened.
Ball into Eza, Marino. It comes out to Declan Rice. Can he get a shot away? He cuts inside. Declan Rice!
What, I finished?
Save.
Oh, how?
I think he's offside anyway, isn't he? Oh, no, he's not.
I hope that flag goes up.
Yeah, it does. Declan Rice had a shot. Kelleher got down. Yes! Leeds! Absolutely fantastic. Tanaka shoots, he scores, and Leeds are leading Chelsea by 2-0.
I've seen Leeds do this before.
And it's a Chelsea team that have had a really, really good couple of weeks, haven't they? Beating Barcelona, getting a point against Arsenal. They've been nowhere near good enough in the early stages. They conceded a goal at the start of the first half, and they're going to concede a goal right towards the end of the first half. Tanaka scores, Leeds 2, Chelsea 0. And Ryan, from a Chelsea point of view, if they've got ambitions to win the league, these are the sort of games they've got to be trying and winning, Chelsea.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the criticism of Chelsea. I honestly think, from a Chelsea standpoint, Maresca in the big games turns up. He gets it right. And look, they've been heavily punished there for switching off for a moment.
That's a finish.
It's a gorgeous play in the middle, quick football, and then Tanaka just unleashes one from about 20 yards out, and the keeper's not getting anywhere near it. So they've been a little bit unfortunate there, but there is that, they just do throw, they lost to Sunderland, didn't they, at home? I mean, that could be a foreshadowing of tonight.
Chelsea fans even said it themselves.
They're the games that tripped them up, aren't they?
They were more concerned about Leeds because, like you said, Maresca, he gets the big game spot on. It's just that chance.
Off the post. Yeah, great header.
It's all kicking off in football right now, isn't it?
It looked like it just,
the
game had stopped. Cross comes in from the right-hand side. It's actually Isak who has the shot initially. It deflects out to Gomez, who's been heavily involved in our build-up, actually. Great cross, crisp, on there of McAllister. No one in about 5 yards near of him. Gets a free head. He's probably more time to take it down. And it kisses the post.
It's a big if because we've got work to do. If Liverpool, Ryan, win this evening and the Chelsea result stays the same, Liverpool will be on the same amount of points as Chelsea, which feels crazy given the fact that Chelsea have been spoken up in the last 6 to 8 weeks as being, in the title race, having an amazing start to the season, and Liverpool being the opposite. We're on the same amount of points as Chelsea.
It does, but it just shows how strong that first couple of games were.
Why you can't draw conclusions for the Premier League race.
Those 50, but I get that, but it's sort of like Liverpool. We're watching them against Sunderland tonight. Yeah, look, they might win this game. They might win it comfortably in the end at some point, potentially. I don't think so. I think they'll have to scrape over the line tonight. But if you look at it from a Liverpool perspective, they're going to have a few more stickier tests where it feels like Arsenal are just the finished package right now. So that's where that's where we come to those conclusions.
So it's more on what you see on a 90-minute basis rather than the math.
Who's challenging them? Chelsea have got those insecurities at the back. Man City are throwing 4 goals away at the Cottage, or 3 goals away at the Cottage that we've not. When do we ever see that type of chaos?
You don't typically win too many games when you concede that amount.
Seasons where they're going to win the league ultimately. Obviously we've seen years where they haven't, but again, there's nothing to suggest to me that they're not in the hallmarks of still a transition season. So, and then obviously Liverpool have been heavily inconsistent and they've still got those frailties and they're still trying to build confidence.
Corner for Sunderland. Ballard heads back across goal, but Ibu Konate does well. Shot from outside the box, takes a big deflection, and it's going to be a corner for Sunderland. What are you laughing at, producer Jamie?
He's always on the lines of him,
He said Liverpool have been quite consistent.
Consistent?
Consistent.
In what? When? In what respect?
Consistently losing, that's what he's saying.
Oh, consistently losing?
Yeah.
Oh, good one.
Loves cutting through the noise.
Good banter, Jamie.
Bristol City supporter.
Hey, Bristol City going well, mate. They're in the top. Bristol City are in the top 6.
It's just normally an insult. You don't have to look at the table. You just normally can say it as an insult.
Well, yeah. Anyway, Sunderland have got another corner. Set piece goals conceded. Liverpool conceded the second most set piece goals this season in the Premier League. Easy for me to say. Going to be another corner in front of the Cop. Granit Xhaka in swinger. Van Dijk does really, really well. Big, strong, powerful header. And I think that should be half-time. Leeds have got a free kick in a dangerous area at Ellen Road. Leeds 2, Chelsea 0. Half-time at Anfield, Liverpool 0. Sunderland 0. Go and put the kettle on, right? Leeds diagonal ball into the box, but Delap does well. And Chelsea are going to clear. I tell you what, CJ. This could be a possibly nervy final 20 minutes at the Emirates Stadium.
I need to see Gyökeres, man. Just get some fresh legs on. It feels like Brentford are trying to go for it at this moment in time. And we do a lot of our players, they look knackered. But we said this at the beginning. It's just going to be a slugfest. We just have to get it done.
Isak to score the win in front of the Cop, Ryan.
Is that you?
In the 60th minute, yeah. Well, he drew a goal at Anfield, isn't he, in the league, right?
Really funny. I think his overall play on Sunday, you can still tell he's getting used to his teammates, and he wasn't effective in his overall play. But
Nottingham Forest have taken the lead at Molineux It been coming, 71 minutes gone, and it's Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 1, and it is the centre forward Igor Jesus who has scored. It's a cross that comes in from the right-hand side. The goalkeeper comes and collects, and he gets nowhere near it, Sam Johnson, and it's a header into the back of the net, and Sean Dyche on the road, last time out, won at Anfield, looks set to pick up another 3 precious points on the road, and Wolves is dreadful, woeful, poor start to the season, looks set to continue. It's Amari Hutchinson on that right-hand side, cutting back in on his left foot, puts in a really good, dangerous ball into a good area, and the goalkeeper comes, he gets nowhere near it, and therefore the centre-forward gets his head on it, Abby, and it's into an empty net.
What is the keeper doing there? So silly.
You have to make that if you come out.
Just terrible, just such poor defending. Do you think that Wolves are going to beat Burnley? Do you think Wolves are going to beat Derby's record, of 11? I feel like we have this debate every single season. Like, is this team going to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, what are they? 2 points, one of which they actually picked up from Tottenham.
Dr. Tottenham, when I see you.
But do you actually think that they could break it?
Do you know, have we had Sam, I don't think we've had him, but Sam Norris from William Hill,
Yeah.
who does our talkSPORT 2's betting slot, and he was telling me today that Wolves have been much better than their 2 points tally suggests. He referenced a few games where they played well, so he seems to think.
I felt they played all right against Villa the other day.
Yeah, they did. And there was also another game they played well. I think it was Brighton they should have won as well. But because it's not, they're only a couple wins away, aren't they, from that point tally? So it feels like at some point in the season they're going to get a win or two, right?
True.
Normally when Wolves concede, Middlesbrough put up like a tweet, sort of something about Middlesbrough doing really well in the championship. So maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe we might see Middlesbrough tweet something now, which I find that sort of banter quite humorous. So half time then in the 8:15 games, Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0. Leeds are beating Chelsea by 2-0 in what looks like is at the moment what is the shock result of the evening. I tell you what, I think Brentford have actually playing pretty well in this second period now at the Emirates Stadium. Ball comes out now to the right-hand side. That's a Yarmouk who's going to come back in field. So Arsenal 1, Brentford 0, Burnley 0, Palace 1, Wolves 0, Forest 1, Brighton 2, Villa 3. Villa were 2-0 down in that game. We got 15 minutes or so to go in these games as Brentford, CJ, at the moment have got possession as Arsenal right now, who are looking just to try and sit deep and soak up the pressure.
That doesn't make me nervous. Have the ball. We're a very good side in terms of come and break us down. For what I do want to see is Arteta, you've got a couple more subs, get some fresh legs. Our players are starting to get knackered. Anytime we're going football, oh gosh, that's a ball. Thank the Lord. This is why we need fresh legs. We need a bit more pressing from the front. Because when we're losing it, we're getting caught on the transitions. It's expected because that's just the nature of how the game goes. But you're seeing us starting to look tired.
Yeah. Normally, it's an Arsenal team that just dominate games, controls games, has all the possession. And
Brentford have been very good in the second.
Yeah, but without creating any clear-cut chances in the second half.
Continue,
they had that header, didn't they, from that set piece?
But like us, they're great from set pieces. They've got another one at this moment. Hopefully it don't go in. I'm scared.
Yeah,
big lad, isn't he? Very tall.
Who? Igor Thiago. Yeah, the centre forward. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Utara is going to whip this ball in. It's going to be an in-swinging corner. Right. It's a poor corner.
Oh, we haven't got time.
It's awful.
I haven't got any time to waste on corners like that.
It's a pathetic corner. Doesn't beat the first man. Arsenal counter-attack now.
Eze, hold it. No, Calafiori, man. No, calm down. Just calm down.
Why don't you just walk it into the net for them? My God.
Release it. What's he? Arteta, please. Arteta, Marino's done very well, but in these last 10 minutes, he's doing crazy things. He's spent now.
They just look
He's shattered. And when you're
tired...
And
you got Villa away Saturday, 12:30.
Exactly. And when you're tired, you start making mistakes like he's doing.
Yeah,
damn.
In fairness, you both are in the middle.
Oh, that's an outstanding save there by Bart Verbruggen at the near post. He took a deflection from across on the right-hand side. And the big goalkeeper did so well there. I think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, Verbruggen. Did well to get down low there. That's an outstanding save to his left-hand side. Really quick reaction to push that ball away.
Ref,
no, it's not a penalty.
VAR, have a look. I've never seen a more Stonewall penalty in my life.
Bukayo Saka's got the ball now on the right-hand side. He's going to whip across in. Really good header there from Nathan Collins.
Come on.
One chance, Abby.
We need more than one chance.
Well, I take one chance of Brentford. If you offered me one good chance of Brentford,
one good chance, I'd take it.
I'd probably take it. Because at the moment,
Chelsea are letting me down as well.
You should have a half-time nap, Ryan, if you fancy.
You could go and make us a cup of tea.
Yeah, why don't you go and make a tea and have a 5-minute power nap on the sofa for the second half?
Anyone?
No, that's it.
Anyone back there want to make us a cup of tea? No? Any movement? Yeah, cup of tea.
We have bourbons, but no.
I'd love a cup of tea. That'd be wonderful. Thank you so much, Sam. As well.
She's such a diva, isn't she? I mean,
I'm freezing. You know, I'm freezing. I have. I turned it up when I came in.
It's
freezing.
the layers to it now because you got the 7:30 show and you got the 8:15. So you normally get your little break when you're in between. If you had your
no break.
7:30 games, what
it's
we've
good.
got.
It's good for you, right? It's good. That's a good point. We do normally have breaks.
Yeah.
6.5 hour show on Sunday. No breaks today.
Breaks.
We absolutely love it, don't we? Here on talkSPORT Goals. Every single game then in these 7:30 games has got just one goal in it. As Eberechi Eze fouls Coyote. Brentford going to win a free kick there. So again, just confirmation then of the latest scores. It's Arsenal 1. Brentford 0 since the start of May. Brentford, in fact, I'm not going to read that stat because they didn't score the opening goal, and it feels a little bit irrelevant at this point. Is there one chance? Is there one big moment in this game for Brentford? Don't often see Arsenal on the back foot a little bit. Mikel Arteta looking a little bit tense. Keith Andrews has got all of his big guns on the pitch as Kelleher launches a long ball forward. Igor Thiago tries to hold it up. It comes out to Damsgaard, but Bukayo Saka does well to win the ball back. And again, at the moment, it feels like in possession, CJ. Arsenal just short of ideas.
Because it's not. I wouldn't even say we're short of ideas. We're tired. We're clearly not mentally focused. We're starting to lose the ball. Both teams are losing the ball. Arteta, please, we just need some fresh legs up front. If nothing more, either Gyökeres or Jesus, just get some minutes and just press relentlessly from the front. Give Brentford something.
But I think Brentford are doing you in on that score because they're playing sloppy as well. They've made it into a bit of a sloppy game.
Yeah. Just like that.
Because they can't get hold of the ball when they've had their opportunities.
We're going to get a second.
They've sort of going through the motions, if you like.
Make the foul.
And
No. I don't know why you lot get excited. That's Timber back there. That's Timber.
I thought Utara was going to find some space to run into, but Timber, CJ says, does well to
see both of you getting up. Calm down. We're not doing the cinematics today. This is Arsenal. We're boring.
Yeah, I could do with some drama though. LA Brentford goal feels nice.
It's been quite a tame night, to be honest with you.
Has it? Goodness me, where were you between?
I meant football. I meant football-wise.
I was handing you my resignation during your two argument.
I wouldn't say there was two parties really there.
Oh God, I love that. Relax.
Declan Rice carrying the ball forward now for Arsenal, out to Eberechi Eze on the left-hand side, up against Coyote. He goes on the outside, and Coyote does well to try and send him back as Arsenal just look to try and take a little bit of gas out of the Brentford play. Martin Zubimendi with the ball for Arsenal. It comes in field now to Martin Odegaard. How good, CJ, to have Martin Odegaard back?
He's our captain. We need him back. We need every player. And again, I do think, as good as Eze's been for us, I do think we've missed what Odegaard brings to the team. I know Arsenal fans tend to get at him for, kind of playing the safe option, but he presses a lot. He keeps things ticking. And he's been good today, to be fair. I just need him to stay consistently fit. We saw Mascara get injured. Every week it feels like that we're getting more injuries. We just need everyone to stay fit because that is the one thing that will derail our season.
Wolves, Burnley making a couple of changes. The Brighton-Aston Villa game probably been the most entertaining game of the evening so far. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 3 as things stand in the Premier League table. Aston Villa up to 3rd, Palace up to 5th with their victory leading Burnley away from home by a 0-0. Unai Emery just almost have Aston Villa being 3rd now almost just feels a little bit of the norm, doesn't it, right? Unai Emery continues to deliver amazing work there at Villa, are a team that don't spend anywhere near as much money as we know as their rivals.
Yeah, it's extraordinary impact, isn't it? It just shows you, I think, certain managers have, and also it's the fit as well. Let's not forget, because Emery coming at Arsenal, didn't he? And that wasn't the right fit. And they were looking for a manager to give time to and give money to, and they were gonna, allow them to experiment and get it right, and then get it wrong, and then get it right again. So he definitely had all of the nutrients to do that for Arsenal, but ultimately, he's found his perfect fit.
He has.
Villa. It's it's almost like the English equivalent of Sevilla, isn't it? In Spain, where he had so much success in the Europa League.
That's where Emery excels.
He excels sort of just underneath the sort of top tier, isn't it? Really, that's where when he can pull a few surprises and he can set up a side that doesn't have to dominate the ball, doesn't have to be possession orientated, but with the right components can hurt anyone on the day.
Declan Rice is coming off for Arsenal.
So that means Marino into midfield and Gyökeres through the middle up front.
Oh, what another good save. Aston Villa have a fourth goal at Brighton. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 4. Daniel Marlin's just come off the bench. Bart Verbruggen made a really good save, but all he could do was palm it out to Daniel Marlin. And what a night for those travelling Aston Villa fans who would have made the long, long journey down to Brighton. They were 2-0 down. They were being completely outplayed. They've completely turned things around. They're up to third in the Premier League table at the moment, with Chelsea getting beat. Marlon has his fourth, right on cue, Ryan. After you were singing the praises of Unai Emery, they score a fourth goal.
It's remarkable that they've gone from 2-0 down to 4-2 up. Away from home, to start a game at the Amex where you're 2-0 down already, it does take a lot of character as well. I think that's fundamentally 100%. What you start to see from Villa.
That's terrible defending.
So much character in that.
I think also, if you think about how they started the season, there was a lot of criticism of Unai Emery and saying, oh, well, is this how it was going to be when, we saw he did this at Arsenal and, he can only take you so far and he doesn't, he can't improve. I think you also have to look at wwhere he took over from Aston Villa and what he's created and built them into. He's been such a good manager for them, and I just think write them off kind of in your own will, if you will. But I think it's a good test for you as well on the weekend to go away to Villa, who are banging form as well at home. I know that we got into an argument last week by me mentioning tests, but I do think that's another test.
Nah, that's one thing we can agree on. It's never easy playing against Aston Villa away from home. It's a nasty fixture, specifically since Emre's gone there at Arsenal. Like, I always think back to a few years ago, if you don't remember, when Zinchenko and Jorginho nicked it at the end. It's going to be anything but an easy game, and mathematically, it could be a title decider.
Potential talking points here, though, Quakey, because Nkapie's gone down. He looks okay, but there's some shots to the bench there. I mean, so Mosquera's out.
That looked like a head injury, so I hope he's okay.
If it's concussion, he won't be able to play on Saturday. However, they have said that Saliba is not a long-term injury, though.
Said a matter of days, but you know what it is with Mikel Arteta? I think we're at that point. You literally just have to wait until you see the match day squad. Sometimes he makes you believe players are going to be there and they're not. Sometimes he completely rules out people being there, and then they pop up. What I liked, as much as I didn't want Saliba to not obviously be there against Chelsea, I remember against Liverpool, we tried to risk it with him picking up an injury in the warm-up. Obviously, that set us back. This season, I know we've had a lot of injuries and people will try and do inquests as to what's happening, but it feels like Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, zero risk. The minute there's any sort of knock, we'd rather play without you. We'd rather you be out for a couple of weeks versus a couple of months. And Nkapie's back on. He's a warrior.
Is there one big chance, one big moment there for Brentford?
Stop trying to speak that into existence, man. Stop that.
Well, I'm just doing my job as a presenter, CJ, to almost try and build tension.
I feel like the evil spirits are conspiring against my club, man.
No, I'm not evil. I just,
No, not evil.
I'm not evil, am I, right?
You're not evil, Sam.
Am I evil? So there we go. We've got 5 minutes left of our 7:30 games. At the moment, Crystal Palace are leading away at Burnley by a goal to nil. An early Daniel Munoz goal for the Crystal Palace, who, as things stand, are up to 5th in the table. Crystal Palace kept only 1 clean sheet in their first 12 away Premier League matches under Ollie Glasner, but they've since kept 10 clean sheets in 19 matches on the road, which is quite remarkable. They'll accept for another clean sheet as things stand. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. You worry a little bit for Burnley, don't you? 19th in the Premier League table, 4 points off Leeds United, who are currently winning away at home to Chelsea. Burnley 0, Palace 1. Nottingham Forest have that important goal away at Wolves, leading by a goal to nil. Aston Villa 4-2 up away at Brighton. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. We just saw a shot there of Mo Salah, Ryan, getting instructions from one of the Liverpool assistant coaches. So it looks as if Mo Salah is going to come on at half-time and... Prior to our debate a little bit earlier on, where he got a little bit emotional and upset, it'll be interesting to see, won't it? Who he comes. I'm only joking. I'm only joking with you. Interesting to see who he comes on for, pal.
Yeah, it will, because Szoboszlai does offer so much engine up top. His legs have been crucial. You mentioned it earlier about players that have performed in a stretch where Liverpool haven't performed, and Szoboszlai's been one of them, regardless. So he's probably not going to bring him off unless there's an injury. By the way, unless there's an injury, so he's probably going to have to tuck Szoboszlai maybe back into midfield if he's going to do that. Or
this guy's throws on. It's nasty. That long throw that Brentford do is horrible.
That horrible. Is unbelievable.
It's nasty. It's so nasty. My heart sank.
Yeah, mine did too.
It's
Oh, Brighton have got a goal back.
What a game.
Brighton 3, Aston
Chaos.
Villa 4. Goals as they go in on talkSPORT goals. That Courier throw, by the way, came in with power, pace, trajectory. I think an Arsenal header won it at the near post, and then it went back into a dangerous
It's like
area.
throwing a toy. He makes it look like he's throwing a toy, man.
Salah on.
Mo Salah is coming on. Who scored that Brighton goal there? Van Heck it was, the
again.
centre half,
Ain't that
with a
enough of him?
really, really nice finish from just outside the box. A lovely side-footed finish into the far corner.
Oh,
have we got
lovely goal.
a moment there, Abby, for one more bit of drama at the Amex
I
Stadium?
think we do. That's been a really good game. Some of these games the last few days are very Boxing Day type fixtures, aren't they? We're seeing just goals galore.
We should have some Christmas food.
Remember, you're a
absolutely.
left back. Pass it.
No.
Oh, Calafiori, lovely. Come on, Sacks.
Oh, my
How?
Bukayo Saka has a shot from close range, which
An
is saved
interesting-
by Quiverham Kelleher.
How?
Pedro Neto's coming on for Chelsea at half-time. Mo Salah's coming on for Liverpool at half-time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's he coming on?
Sacks.
Still the question.
I
that we
reckon
need to
Gakpo
ask.
be my guess.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. What's my guess?
Whoa, he's got it right.
He's got it right.
In one.
Do you know what was so impressive earlier from you? Naming the whole Crystal Palace team, bar
No,
one.
I
That
know.
was very impressive.
I know.
Never.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I thought it was quite good, wasn't it?
It was very impressive. I'm
I-
going to start doing that to you every show now.
It's,
Oh, I like that.
I like it.
That'd be fun. We'll maybe do it on air one day.
Shall we?
Yeah, I was quite impressed. I got a 10 out of 11. I should have got.
that was my fault, sorry.
Should have got Lerma.
What would your gut have told you?
no, that
Lerma or
was
Hughes?
unlucky. That was unlucky.
It was unlucky. But what
Yeah,
would your
tough
gut
one,
have told you, Lerma or Hughes?
Well, my gut told me Lerma. Lerma. I said Hughes, didn't I? But my gut.
Oh, had he?
I think I said Hughes, but it was Lerma. For those that care.
Had you already seen it? There's VAR in my ear
No, I hadn't seen it.
telling me that you'd already seen the lineup.
No, that's complete false information. Who said
I
that?
have to check it.
What do you think, Seth?
Who said that? Marco's. Marco getting Larry again. Honestly, Marco, seriously, calm down, mate. He had one Guinness with us on Sunday. Now he's giving it the. Yeah. Can you believe it? There we go. So anyway, what do we reckon here, CJ? Is there one more moment for Brentford in this game? We're into 90 minutes. How much?
Is the CJ? Is it one more moment?
No, there probably is, isn't it? I wish it wouldn't be the case, but something does feel like that.
6 minutes of time added on.
From where? Where'd they get that? It doesn't matter. We're gonna get a second. Right, stay onside. Yokeres, stay onside. Come on, dribble in. Yes! Ref on my life that went in. Yes! Forget one more chance for Brentford. There's one more for us, Sacadinho. Yes! Game, set, match. There's no upsets here. Focus.
Fan base.
It's an unsuccessful hate along, man.
I don't really think there was much hate along going on.
A little bit.
No, you know what I'm hoping. I saw you lot move when you saw it.
Bukayo Saka has scored a second goal for Arsenal, and I'm going to use the most cliche saying of all time here. I don't really care. This is, I think, the sort of performance that is the sign of champions, where a midweek game under the lights, not playing particularly well, far from their best, under a little bit of pressure, and they go and get that second goal to kill off the game. Bukayo Saka on for Nori Madueke with a shot that Kelleher got a big left hand on. He almost looks a bit relieved there, Bukayo Saka.
He should be. Did you see the tapping he missed a couple of moments before? And I mean, naturally, we're going to be relieved. I think Arsenal fans have started to get onto Saka about goals and assists, even though I think before this he had something along the lines of 6 in 12. He's our star man. We need to get goals. Today, that's the most important goal that's gone in the back of the net. It's a touch of unfortune from Brentford, but we'll take them any way we can, and we can breathe now.
Yeah, I don't think Quiverham Kelleher will be too happy with his efforts.
He's off his line, though, man.
Bukayo Saka on his left foot, but the keeper gets the left hand on it and makes a meal of it and ends up almost just pushing it into the goal. And he's a top goalkeeper, is Quiverham Kelleher. But Saka does really well. He's got two defenders in front of him. Gift that ball onto his left foot. It hits with power, but yeah, I think Kelleher, if he could do that again, would get
really
a slightly stronger
Yeah.
left hand on that. And it goes into the back of the net. Abby, that just looks like another big 3 points for Arsenal.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it is. It's just.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, expand.
Brentford have annoyed me a little bit. To be honest, I feel like they just didn't really go for it. I can't really understand why they. Well, it's not.
They've been on it in the second half.
Yeah,
Look,
second
and
half.
they're-
Great second half. I mean, a game's 90 minutes. I need you. I don't understand why you would not play Igor Thiago. I don't understand why you wouldn't play Damsgaard. Like, okay, fine. If you think that I get the rotation, but there's rotation and there's rotation, in my opinion. Like.
Oh, they could be in it. See, look, they've
Yeah,
reacted.
but I don't need them to then finish as 2-1 and frustrate me even more. Like, I just
frustrated?
feel like we've seen with Sunderland, you know, if teams are aggressive and go at Arsenal, same with Chelsea, you can get at them a little bit. And I just feel like going there and just playing that and then just not even like really starting anyone that
7
can hurt
corners.
you or affect you. Like just banking everything on corners against a team that is the best at corners, regardless of the fact that you haven't got Gabriel and Saliba there. Just try, just test them. Like just give it a shot, give it a go. Maybe just don't roll over and have your belly tickled for
I
once.
think you're being harsh to Brentford. They haven't rolled over.
I'm not. I'm like this with every team.
They had about 5-6 corners.
Yeah,
in
and
the
done what
first
with them?
half.
Absolutely
They hit the
nothing.
bar.
Nothing.
They've reacted well in the
Nothing.
second half.
I hope we batter them on Saturday.
You have to give.
We won't.
Go on, Abby. Here she is.
You have to give Brentford credit, man.
They're going to come to your
Give
face.
them credit for what? For rolling over again?
They've been very difficult to break down. They've made us live dangerously.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
there's been a sign of relief when Saka's obviously scored. You know, they lost Thomas Frank, they lost Norgard,
Sick and tired of
they
teams
lost
rolling over
Embuemo,
for
and
you. It's
they're
boring.
currently mid-table.
Boring.
And I'm sure Keith Andrews, if he could, he would have started those players. They've got
He
minutes
could have.
in
They
the
were on
legs.
the bench. They were fit. Just start them.
I mean,
Take them off at 60 minutes. At least you would have given the game a go.
Like Sam said, if you've got
Or
Arsenal and Spurs, you're probably going to put your eggs in the beating Spurs basket.
But it's
So
easy. You can beat
it makes
Spurs.
sense.
It's really not hard. Just look at the blueprint.
I think you
really,
just have to be semi-decent. I don't think there's a
easy
blueprint.
to beat Tottenham at home. Everyone else has done it.
Mm.
Sorry, got that off my chest.
No, it's quite okay. Abby, you know, in terms of this Arsenal performance, you know, these are the sort of games where not at their fluent best.
Yeah.
It could have been a banana skin, but you almost have to give them credit for the way they've got over the line this season.
Yeah, look, this it's one of those games that if you're going to be challenging and you're going to win the title, then these are the type of fixtures that you've got to grind out and you've got to win. They'll make it hard for you. I think that's just why I enjoyed Sunday's game so much, and I was so frustrated about that game in particular, not having the 11v11 for the whole majority of the game, because I actually saw a team really take it to Arsenal and actually really press them and really try and have
I
quality.
think teams maybe show them a little bit too much.
I think they do show them too much, which I understand. Like, I do think I do understand when you are a team and you want to do a low block and you think, okay, let them be difficult and break down. Arsenal face that every single week. Give them something to think about, at least. Try.
Oh, there's a lot for Arteta to think about today.
No, I'm talking about other teams.
No, there's been a lot of teams that have made it difficult for us, man. You know what? In the first 10 minutes, Spurs made it difficult for us. Obviously, minus the goals.
My team have been the most embarrassing team you've played against this season. You will not have an easier game this season than you have against Spurs.
Definitely not. It's not Spurs.
That sent me to a place I don't want to go back.
Oh, really? I hadn't clocked. I hadn't noticed.
You hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
The fact that they had me doing a video.
Oh, Chelsea have got an early goal back away at Ellen Road, and that is exactly what they needed. Pedro Neto has got his fingers in his ears saying talk now, leads 2, Chelsea 1. And Chelsea, who were really, really poor, way below their best in that first period, have pulled a goal back. Pedro Neto scoring from close range. The ball has Cucurella on the left-hand side. It comes back in field, out to the left-hand side again. Played as really well as that Gittins there, who gets to the byline, stands the ball up to the back post, and Pedro Neto is completely unmarked to the back post, scores from close range. Yeah, as Gittins, who on his right foot does well to stand it up, and Glitton stabs home. CJ, for Arsenal, are the start of the line, does it feel as if almost everything is in place now for this Arsenal team to win the league this season?
We just have to keep going. I think everything's in place for us to remain competitive. I still, as I said earlier, I think it goes down to the wire. I think Chelsea are in it. I think City are in it. Mathematically, whatever you say about your club, you're not out of it. We've played 13 games this season, past the 10-game mark. It's now time for the season to start taking shape. When we lose or draw, as some Arsenal fans would have seen this week, don't get excited. When we win, don't get excited. Just need to keep going. We've got a competitive side. We've got a good manager. Hopefully, May 2026, there's a parade. Just keep moving.
And there is the full-time whistle confirmation then at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal beating Brentford by 2-0. They are now on 33 points. They go back 5 points clear of Man City on 28 points. Aston Villa winning at the moment away at Brighton have 27 points. Chelsea, of course, losing at the moment would be 9 points behind Arsenal if they can't turn things around, but they're off to the perfect start. And CJ, is squad depth. Has the way Mikel Arteta used his squad in the last kind of couple of weeks been absolutely perfect? This evening, allowed to rest Saka and Eza. We know that there's injuries to the two centre-halves who didn't play this evening, kept a clean sheet. Arsenal have got a big squad, which is using perfectly at the moment.
I mean, this is what we've wanted for years. You know, one wonders, had we have done everything last summer, what we did this summer, what could have happened for the Premier League? But we can't go back in time. This is exactly what you want. I said this last week. I mean, in an ideal world, everybody's fit and we're only having conversations about who's in the squad or who makes the 11. But unfortunately, injuries are part and parcel of the business, and we've been getting on with it. As much as I have to credit Mikel Arteta, I have to credit the players. I've seen you lot win today. I've seen you lot win against Bayern Munich. I know we didn't win the Champions League last year, but you stood up tall against Real Madrid. This is
the best Arsenal team you've seen in your lifetime? Better than the Invincibles?
In what regards?
Just being the best team, the strongest team.
Yeah, but what regards? Like, you took a style of football, what? If you're talking depth and all of that in the
Everything really.
No.
Like I would say, is this the best Arsenal team you've seen in your lifetime?
No, it's the best of the Emirates era. It's nowhere near the Invincibles.
Not as good as the Invincibles. Yeah.
No. They can't. They have to win a Premier League before we ever have kind of debate.
How many? Yeah. No. I appreciate that.
In terms of squad depth and stuff, obviously we're in a different dynamics than we was then. 100%. You know, it's more littered with collective quality, but nowhere near the Invincibles at all. More for the Emirates era, though.
More full times coming into us. Crystal Palace have a really big 3 points away at Burnley, who continue to struggle in the bottom three. Igor Jesus, 77th minute winner, was enough for Nottingham Forest to beat Wolves, who stay on 2 points, stay without a victory. Still Brighton 3, Aston Villa 4. We've got 3 minutes to go of added time in that game. Villa away, though, on Saturday, CJ. The games are coming thick and fast, aren't they? And that Villa, with the form they're in, by the way, as things stand, that'd be first versus third in the Premier League.
It's going to be a nervy one against Aston Villa. You know, you sprinkle in the Unai Emery factor and his old history at Arsenal. It's going to be difficult. They're going to be up for it. We've seen them come back from 2 goals down today, actually. It's going to be difficult. And there's minutes in the legs for both teams. But this is the Premier League. This is the festive period.
And a nice moment there. I saw Gabriel having a bit of laugh with Nkape, who's come off there. How much credit do those 2 centre-halves deserve? Nkape and Mascara, who obviously went to Stamford Bridge on the weekend. Arsenal got a draw there, a clean sheet this evening. I mean, it's big boots to fill, and they're so far doing well.
Can't praise them enough. Hincapié, I've wanted to see him. Like any Arsenal fan that follows me on socials is known, that was one of the players I was excited about over the summer, just because he's been described as a warrior and all of those kind of things. Mascara for 13 million. I don't know how we've managed to pull that out. Shout out to them. And ironically, in what was not the best of performances at Stamford Bridge, I think my centre half stood up too. I think actually when Chelsea were man marking us and pressing us.
Oh! Chelsea pulled one back and now leads. He's given the
drama. Such a good drama.
Nemetja had the ball in the back of the net for Leeds. A really, really nice finish, but the offside flag's gone up. Bizzo, by the way, for Aston Villa, the Aston Villa goalkeeper, in for Martinez tonight, has just pulled off a world-class save from close range to deny, I think it was Minter. That's the save to Emi Martinez. Oh, that's poor. A ball comes in, a cross comes in from the right-hand side. Calvert-Lewin wins the header. It then falls for a Nemetja who scores. I think it's 2 Leeds players, right, who look at an offside position. That is one of my pet peeves there, when players are looking across the line.
Lazy.
And yet they still stay in an offside position. It is so frustrating, isn't it?
It was such a good from you two as well. Such a good celebration.
Wow, we get excited as the goals go in. CJ, back to your point, sorry, about the Arsenal centre-halves.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give Hincapié or Mascara enough credit. How we managed to get Mascara for 13 million, I don't know. I like Hincapié, not just because he's a centre-half, but he can also play left-back. I know he doesn't look it, but he's actually 23. And it weren't the best of performances in recent weeks from us at Stamford Bridge, but I actually think both of them showed a lot of courage, particularly Mascara on the ball. It's just unfortunate that Mascara's picked up an injury today. I'm no physio. I don't think he'll be out for that long. I think it's like prevention's better than...
What will he do you think, for Saturday, if he doesn't play? Ben White move to centre-back?
I mean, I'd imagine Saliba's back, because I don't want to take too much stock in what Arteta said.
Could Ben White go back to centre-back, do you think?
I'm not convinced with Ben White as a centre-half. I think he's a right-back. We can get away with it. We can box cleverly. I would have rather have done it today. I'm not trying to do that against Aston Villa and Ollie Watkins and all of those sort of players. So for me, I think you've just got to have Saliba and Hincapié. I'm more likely to entertain Timber centre-half before Benjamin White.
Yeah, and is in terms of the rotation, it feels like he's rotating really well at the moment. Declan Rice feels like the one player, though, who maybe needs a rest more than most. But is he the one you can't afford to rest?
Can't afford to, and I know it's sad to say, but we're going to have to run you into the ground. Like, you're Declan twice, you're Declan everything. By the way, Arsenal fans, if you're listening, he's been nominated for a Puskas Award. Make sure you're voting. We can't drop him, because who else comes in? With the greatest of respect to Norgard, like, you don't offer the dynamism and all the Yates stuff and everything that Declan does, not to mention set pieces. We can't afford to lose him. I don't want to be that guy, but if Declan Rice gets injured, then I actually think we still have to keep fighting. But that, I don't think you can win.
Is he the most important player in this Arsenal team?
At the moment, 100%. You take him out of there, the midfield falls down the toilet, if I'm honest with you.
Since the start of last season, no Premier League player has scored more headed goals in all competitions than Arsenal's Mikel Merino.
And he should have a pen. Look at that.
He's got 8 of his 14 goals in that time. Unai Emery walks off at the Emirates Stadium with a stride in his step. What a win for Aston Villa. Brighton 3, Aston Villa 4. Aston Villa up to 3rd in the Premier League table. That game then on the weekend will be 1st versus 3rd as things stand, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. You almost have to give credit, though, for Arteta, do you think, in the way he used Mikel Merino and got the best out of Mikel Merino in that, number 9 position?
100%. And you know what? Mikel Arteta is quite diplomatic when he's in the press conferences. You can really tell he gets annoyed when people have criticised the way he talks about Mikel Merino. Even going back to a few weeks ago when he scored a hat-trick for Spain. Credit to Arteta for finding a short-term fix or another option at the very least in our side, and credit to Mikel Merino for having the competence to understand what's demanded of him in that role. I know Mikel Merino is never going to be every Arsenal fan's cup of tea. You know, he doesn't get bums off seats, but as you said there, he scores a lot of headers, he scores a lot of goals, he scores a lot of vital goals, whether it's Leicester last year or tonight.
No.
I thought there was an opportunity there for Sunderland, but Ibu Konate does well to get back in and win the ball back. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0. 59 minutes gone. Enzo Lefebvre.
See, but although he beats a few there, it's still a bit more assured than it has been in recent weeks. And, you know, there's a chance there where it goes over the top and Liverpool are split wide open, but they get bodies back quite quickly, and you know that feels like a slight change anyway.
I was just still 0-0
what we've seen over the last couple
between
of months.
Sunderland and Liverpool.
It's been quite a stodgy game, mate. To be honest with you, there's not really created much of note. Liverpool haven't really created anything threatening. They've had some nice interchanges in and around halfway, and you know around the Sunderland box, but there's nothing where you've gone, they're creating sustained pressure over and over and over again. So I'm hoping, mate, that maybe there's a spark that could come off the bench.
A screaming last minute winner done.
Yeah, I think it could easily be a one. I feel like it's just got a 1-0 written on it. To be honest with you, and maybe Vert in my head. That's obviously looking at it from a sunny side up perspective, but I genuinely feel something like that, just in terms of the general way that Liverpool are coming back to form ever so slightly. Isak scores, Vert is the next one to get the sort of monkey off his back, isn't it?
So just before I go back to Arsenal, by the way, we're starting to see a bit more of this in the Premier League. I absolutely love to see. All the Aston Villa players are right in front of their fans. They're giving it the fist pump stuff. They're all lined up in the line, celebrating with the away fans. And you often see that stuff, don't you, in leagues like the Bundesliga and stuff like that. But we're seeing it now a lot more in the Premier League. I think it's really, really good. The players getting involved with the fans. Well done, Onana. Well done to Aston Villa. Abby, were you surprised with the team that Brentford picked this evening?
Yeah, very much so. I'm actually just having a look at the stats here as well. I mean, you'd expect Arsenal to have all the possession. I mean, Brentford had an XG of 0.34.
Oh, Sunderland hit the post from a corner. Remains Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0, Abby.
They had an XG of 0.34, just one shot on target. And David Raya only had to make one save, which is not uncommon. I think I'm just disappointed by just the lack of, I don't know, just having a little bit of bottle. Like, I understand, like, I don't have another word to put it really, but I'm just so sick and tired of teams just going to Arsenal and just rolling over and having their belly tickled. Like, I think that the team selection
like
shows
Spurs.
me that. Yeah, like, no, exactly like Spurs.
They show more out than them, man.
Like I said to you earlier, that you will not get an easier game this season than Tottenham at Arsenal. You know, that was exactly what my team did. Their paws up in the air and had their stomach fully tickled like a little dog. Pathetic. Anyway, I just expected, I don't know, just expected a little bit more from Brentford. I feel like they're such a team that obviously can hurt you at set pieces and with long throw-ins and areas like that. And I just think that I get having rotation, but not playing Igor Thiago, who's been in really good form. I think it's only Haaland that scored more goals than Igor Thiago this season.
They could be carrying knocks.
To not play him, if they're carrying knocks and don't be on the bench, or you know, what's the point? I think it's rotation, and I just feel like if you're not going to start or give it a go, then like you might. You
can't say they didn't. They gave it a go. I hear what you're saying about
they really didn't give it a go. And I just feel like if they had one eye on the weekend at Spurs, that is the easier one out of obviously your two options. I don't think you really need to rest Igor Thiago for that, or Henderson for that, or Damsgaard for that. And just looking, I know that the game will tell a different story maybe if you watched it, but I really feel like Brentford had a lot of half chances. They didn't really do anything.
That's not Keith Andrews' fault. His players couldn't convert. It was a fantastic save from David Raya. It's a different game.
He also didn't really give them the means to convert when you don't start your striker.
Yeah, but they had a couple of half chances, Abby. I think you're downplaying them.
I'm not downplaying it. I've got the stats right here in front of me, and on what I just watched with my eyes.
I think, you know what?
There was a few half chances. Aside from that, it was nothing.
Yeah. But that's where I think you can't just get at Keith Andrews for his subs. I'm sure that
Brentford in general.
Yeah, no, for his team that he put out there, I think they gave it a good effort. I think they had some chances that on another day, maybe on the weekend, falls to them. It's not every week that they're playing a team that's not lost in 17, 18 odd games and are fighting for a league title. I think they're so good, so
better
good.
on an aerial duel, but
I think Brentford showed a lot of unique qualities, and there's a lot of encouragement they can take from today going into the weekend. Will we be supporting them all the way?
I'm sure
Abby,
you
are
will.
you feeling even more worried, especially with Chelsea losing at the moment?
Nah. Like in my head, Arsenal are going to win the league anyway. I've already come to.
too early.
I'm coming to terms with that. Like I've had to over the last few months.
too
Otherwise, I'd already be out of the country.
Where
I
are you
won't be
gonna
able to. I've told you, I'm just far away. I actually Googled last week.
Oh, I saw it on
my-
Instagram.
Did you see it on my way home? I was so wound up after that. I was like, where can I move to? Where can I live? Like, where is a good place? I've had a lot of people tell me Canada is actually a really good spot. I don't know. Chelsea, I keep flicking back and forth.
So
between,
to
do I put my eggs in Chelsea's basket? Do I go with City?
For confirmation,
Can I go
though,
with Liverpool?
Arsenal in the league, you're moving abroad.
It's definitely an option. You also forget the other place I work. Like, how can I continue? To work? How can I physically continue to work there?
It's dark.
It will
So
be.
but that's just Robbie, though, isn't it? That's just one fan, right?
No,
the
we
whole
are we are a whole building. I don't
Arsenal
think you understand what it's like in there.
No, I've never been there.
It's long days.
Okay.
Long days. And
Well, you've got, I think, 6 months to get used to it, Abs.
well, I genuinely believe that they will probably win.
Can they be stopped?
Yeah, I think they can be stopped, but it's just whether or not anyone is consistent enough to stop them. I think if teams could perform or Chelsea could be consistent, what I saw
This is
from
the thing. None of
What
the chasing pack are consistent,
consistent enough.
We've seen this Chelsea team, who I think are really good. I think Chelsea and City are both quite similar in that respect.
Very
I think
much
they're
so.
both very good, very attacking.
Yeah.
Got lots of good players, but I just don't think defensively
They're it.
they're solid enough, consistent enough to go on winning runs of 6 to 8 games to really.
Things
put
can
the
change.
Pressure. Of course,
Things can change, and the second half
Tranquillo.
of Manchester City's seasons tends to usually look up. We won't talk about last season; that was probably a bit of an anomaly. But whether or not, I think they could be stopped, but it's just whether or not anyone can be consistent enough to stop them, and that is something I don't think anyone can do. Depending on what business gets done in January with other teams, maybe if Liverpool can find some form. I very much thought that Liverpool would be able to challenge them this year, but obviously I don't think that's going to happen now. Chelsea, Manchester City, both inconsistent. I don't think there's anyone else that can probably challenge to the same level, the same degree.
I'm enjoying this segment.
So, yeah, they can be stopped, though, because I witnessed Chelsea put up a very, very good performance against them, even with 10 men. And I genuinely believe that had they have had 11, I think that Chelsea would have won that game.
I mean, the good thing is, Abby, if you do move abroad, at least you got your Pilates stuff now. You can do that.
Yeah,
can't you, right?
Pilates, PT.
You know what I mean?
all
Is
of
that
it.
why you've started doing that?
That too, because
you
I
can-
don't think I can live in a world where Arsenal, win the league and I've got to go to work every day.
Oh, Abby, you've got
be
6
alright.
months to go, kid.
It's only football. It's only
Six-
football.
No, yeah, it's only football.
It's only football, man. There's more important things in life.
Hey, Spurs are champions of Europe. Arsenal will never sing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then at the end of this season, then I can't say that
All
anymore.
right, so you've got
There'll be a new
6
champion
months
of
to go
Europe.
around singing champions of Europe. You'll never
Yeah,
sing
man, make it
that.
count.
Make it count.
You look deflated already, Abby.
Yeah. It's not fun anymore. You sound too defeated.
No, it's not fun. It's
Oh no, it's definitely fun for me. But
It's
I
not
like.
fun for me. It isn't. It's not fun. But we bounce back 12:30 up the villa.
Up the villa.
Up the
Hot
villa.
tenders in the sky. Yippee-yi-yay. Yippee-yi-yo.
Up the villa. Like I'll
Where's Dan Bardo when you need him, right?
I know. Honestly, whoever is playing against Arsenal, you will have my full support, my full backing.
May my enemies never prosper.
See,
Big up the Arsenal fans.
You're just sitting there chilling and relaxing and enjoying
Yeah,
it.
you know what? Because
Weird to see you so chilled.
yeah, no, I've sat here quite a few weeks and been chilled. I just see my team keep winning games. I'm just taking it game
Maybe
by
I start
game.
I don't know. Maybe start praying.
Yeah, you got to pray.
Oh, really?
We got to thank God for this. We prayed for times like this.
Do you want to do it right now?
Come on then. Do you want to?
Hopefully these prayers gone unanswered.
You take it away.
Oh, goal!
We were going to give you a.
All right, keep praying. Sunderland
Oh.
have taken the lead.
you
Go on,
actually-
pray.
You actually do need to pray right now.
Hey, this
Abby,
is
that's
why you don't scheme. No. Come on, Jacko. I need one from you as well.
Liverpool 0, Sunderland 1.
Nah,
Talby
Liverpool-
has scored for Sunderland.
Liverpool
Liverpool
come
0, Sunderland 1. 67 minutes gone. And Ryan, how many more camera pans to Kevin Phillips you want to see? You get it. He's in the away end. Well done to
Oh,
you,
Premier
cameras.
League legend.
Yeah, they've done it about 8 times in the last few minutes.
Haven't they?
Absolutely, it's unbelievable. Let's have a look then at this replay. Why is
Have
this
a
team?
look. Sorry, it was too early.
Right, not time for jokes.
Sorry,
over,
it's
Abby.
not time for joking. Sorry.
Silence is
The
definitely.
silence is
It
definitely.
is definite, yeah, because
Talby has scored the goal. Virgil van Dijk has the ball. He plays it into midfield. Enzo Lefebvre wins it back. It comes back to Talby. And Talby gets the shot away. And it goes in the back of the net. But you have to say there, Virgil van Dijk,
Van Dijk
is
is out of sorts.
such poor play from
What's going
Virgil
on
van
with him?
Dijk. Ball comes into him. He doesn't deal with it. It's poor. He plays a poor pass into midfield. Lefebvre wins it back, gives it to Telby. And then once again, it comes off Virgil van Dijk, who I think he's a little bit lackadaisical in trying to stop the shot. Stop the shot! Don't do all this turn your back and put your bum out. Close him down.
He's been doing that for years.
No, but you've given the ball away. You've got a lad who's 20 yards out who's about to have a shot. Stop the shot.
Mistakes happen, man. He didn't do it on purpose.
Well,
Sorry?
anyone
He didn't
does
do
it
it
on
I'm not saying he did it on purpose. I'm just saying be more aggressive. Get out to him. Stop the shot. Ryan?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. I mean, to be honest with
it's
you,
terrible.
what I was going to say to you initially was Sunderland made a meal of it. You know, the ball goes over the top. They've got a 2-on-2, and the initial pass is really poor. It's right at the shins of Van Dijk. And all he really needs to do is pick out a red shirt, hold on to the ball, send it long. 2 options for you. You know, third option is he could go on and run himself. He decides to just pass the ball 5 yards into space.
No concentration.
No concentration. No focus in his play.
But Ryan, why are these players now making these...
Totally punished.
They're in a rut, innit?
But Ryan, how can so many of these great players be making so many stupid, basic mistakes on a week-to-week basis?
Because of the form they're in.
Yeah, it's form, it's confidence.
It's everything.
It's... I mean, to be honest with you, sometimes
Probably
you
second guessing
You go
everything as
through
well.
the emotions, you go through the emotions. Like, this game's been an awkward game. 0-0 for most of it. Liverpool haven't
So
really
Ref, can we have a look?
dominated.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can I say one thing? I hope I'm wrong with this, right?
Yeah.
Dominic Szoboszlai here from a long throw is yanking Dan Ballard's arm and then he pushes him over. We saw Spurs give away a penalty last night for I think something that wasn't as aggressive as that. Now, unless I'm wrong, it's probably not going to be given. No. But that is a really good example where last night we saw an incident given for that, and tonight Dominic Szoboszlai is allowed to pull someone back. And that's what I mean when I say they game by game.
The lack of consistency.
It's different rules game by game, isn't it?
Luckily for you that one wasn't.
No, I know, but from a footballing point of view,
it's not right.
that stuff really pees me off.
Even the one with Bentancur a few weeks ago, it was similar to the Caicedo one. We were talking about it on Sunday,
right?
And again, nothing. For
Who was that one against?
Who was that one against?
Yeah,
I can't remember. I actually can't remember who that was against. Okay, Ekatike's warming up. Guys, I just wanted to ask you...
Oh, here she goes. Do you know what? Do it to Ryan this time. I've had enough of this.
I wasn't going to ask you about Arne Slot. Don't jump down my
Ask you.
I wasn't going to ask that, actually, at all. I was going to ask you about Virgil van Dijk in particular. Because obviously we had a whole conversation earlier about Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah is, we don't need to go back into that again. Cool. So I wanted to ask you when it comes to Virgil van Dijk, because I feel like lots of people are very quick to criticise Konate, who has not had a good season at all. But can we be also critical of Virgil van Dijk just because he has...
I think there's been heavy criticism of Van Dijk this year.
Okay. I feel like when it comes to Salah and Van Dijk in particular, I don't feel they get half as much as criticism as someone like a Konate does.
No,
that's from an outsider's.
No, ultimately, Liverpool have been a mess at defending set pieces, for instance, and he's part of that problem, but he's as part of a collective. I think it gets shown up more when you see Salah on the right side. He's trying to do his trademark cut inside and curl one, and when he skies at 10, 15, 20 yards over the top, the eyeball test for most people is, that's why they focus on Salah. Personally, that's why I think you see the differences, because there's probably a bit more, there's a bit more nuance to a defender's game, and it's hard to work out sometimes who the fault is if you don't watch footy that often. Really, is my general opinion on that. Why I think you see a different perception for like Salah and Van Dijk. But to be honest with you, I genuinely just think he's having a bad year. I think he's having a bad year. I wouldn't put it past Van Dijk putting in a stellar season next year. I wouldn't. I genuinely wouldn't. I've seen it so many times before. We've seen it before where Van Dijk's had a poor season. Everyone thinks he's finished, and he comes back the next year. And Salah's exactly the same. So okay, fair enough. Towards the tail end,
even that from,
and that's the narrative.
It's form and confidence, because that is terrible from Liverpool.
Yeah, look, he's just not.
It's 6s and 7s across the whole team. This ain't one of what Liverpool's worst performances.
No, he's not helped. Look, the reality is he's the captain. He's got to set the tone.
Yeah.
It's a bit like what you were saying before, Abs, about Brentford, right?
Yeah.
You don't start for your best players. You're setting a tone, really, that you're not going out with confidence at the Emirates. You're not really taking the game to them. You're going to sit back and you're going to accept that you're going to be punished. And if you concede, fair enough, and you're going to try and build from that. It's the same with Liverpool. At the moment, he's the captain and he's setting all of the wrong messages and all of the wrong tone, and he's got to own that, and he's got to try and come back back from this really
He fronts up to the
sticky
music.
period.
What did you make of
Well, he
him?
does and he doesn't
I don't
because
think he does, but I really don't.
No, not on the pitch. At least I like the fact that he doesn't hide from criticism and he
He
faces
can't.
up to
He's a
it.
captain.
Yeah.
I also feel like
yeah, but he doesn't
No,
acknowledge
but
that
you're
he's
forgetting, I support
involved, does he?
Arsenal. I've seen guys run away from talking to the press and whatnot. So I give Van Dijk credit for that. Obviously, on the field, he's stinking up the place.
the PSV game in particular.
Oh no, that was
Goal!
Oh,
3-1 lead. Calvert-Lewin. It's an absolute mess at the back there for Chelsea, honestly.
Chelsea.
It is just collapses.
This is the point I came back to Abs earlier, making so many changes to the defence. And Sanchez and Tosin and Gusto, they're having an absolute shouting match with each other. Leeds won't care. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the goal scorer. It's Leeds 3, Chelsea 1. And Chelsea, who scored early in the second half to pull a goal back, have now got to try and turn around 2 goals once again. There is an inquest, isn't there, Ryan?
Yeah.
Among about half a dozen Chelsea players who are absolutely fuming with each other.
It goes in slow motion. He gets the ball out on the left-hand side. And
Malo Gusto has the ball just outside his box. He plays it and gets it back. Then Gusto goes back across. And then the number 4, Tosin, gives it away.
That's dead.
He's intercepted and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So Gusto gives it to Tosin.
Just hook it.
And number 19, oh my goodness me.
First touch is
pressurises him, wins it back, and then it falls to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Tosin there. That is schoolboy defending, isn't it?
First touch is all over the place. Hook it if it when in doubt, clear it out. It's just an unforced error. Well, Chelsea have mastered their own downfall there. Like it's poor.
That's where the inconsistency comes from, isn't it? You know, we talked about having a centre half and a keeper, and I know obviously they've changed the centre half tonight, and that's understandable. But having an experienced centre half in there and a keeper that's going to get you over the line, I don't think either of them
I think he's saying that when
cover themselves in glory.
Chance! Oh, Verts had a shot that was blocked. Oh, I'm behind.
Is Sanchez crying?
What is he moaning about?
Why do keepers always do this?
So when the Leeds player won the ball back off Tosin, he then slid into a challenge with Sanchez here, and I think Sanchez saying it's not foul.
What are you talking about? So
He
what
gets
should
the
he
ball.
do? Not engage?
Yeah, no, yeah, should he? Yeah, no, they do this all the time. They just it's more.
Keepers love this. Sorry, he went for it.
Body. So it's just ridiculous. Don't.
It's the first time Sanchez I've seen Chelsea concede a goal, and you've actually not been the worst player.
He's been very good, Sanchez, recently. Robert Sanchez.
I don't think it's Sanchez's fault. It's Tosin's fault.
No, it's not his
No,
fault.
it's absolutely Tosin's fault. I think that Malo Gusto doesn't play a brilliant ball, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he probably didn't want the ball there. Did he?
Completely puts him under
the first
pressure.
touch is terrible.
in the first place. But it's good from Okafor. Good pressure.
Really good pressure from the Leeds attacking player. But yeah, that is something that is not going to please the Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca. Tosin, he's just way too lackadaisical. Doesn't deal with it. Chelsea there.
The changes haven't helped away from home as well.
This is dire.
What do you reckon, Ryan?
There's no real idea, mate, on how to break them down. That's where the frustration starts to land from a slot perspective. Is what's your idea? What are you trying to do? Yeah, what are you trying to achieve? Now, look, I feel for him at points because he's been let down by key players. Virgil's a great example against PSV Eindhoven. Within 4 minutes, he concedes a penalty. And he's remonstrating with the referee for 2 minutes, saying that his hands are behind his back.
Yeah, that was
when it couldn't have been any more blatant. So he's saying that he faces up to the music, but does he really? Because
no, I was talking purely in terms of how he talks after. The best talking's on the pitch, which everyone at Liverpool.
But even when he talks after, when he was having that spat with Rooney,
Rooney won that.
I just felt like. What are you gaining or achieving from this? Like and it was off the back of we beat Villa and we beat Real Madrid.
You've got to remember, these lot got pride, rightly or wrongly. You got pride.
You have got pride, but
so when someone's criticising you and saying you don't care and things, that's gonna hurt.
But it's convenient. It's convenient.
I hear you, though.
After he did it after Villa and Real Madrid, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's convenient he did it after Villa and Real Madrid after wins.
Fair weather.
But now, where have you seen him come out and have the same ferocity about the public perception? He shouldn't have bothered about that. At the end of the day, he's got to look at it and go, Liverpool are setting records that is historically horrific. From a Liverpool standpoint, I know obviously put everything in context, and you can always qualify it with context. But if you look at it from the bare bones of it, Liverpool are 10? This could be 10 defeats and 13.
14.
Wow. That's how can
it's unacceptable.
He's the captain of Liverpool. He can't turn around and go, oh, well, we need to get ourselves out of this tough moments, and keep sort of spinning that line.
Obviously, you're not the manager. How do you get out of this then?
Well, this is
Like
where
how? Genuinely.
to be honest with you, the PSV game started to set real warning signs for me. I was like, wow, that fourth goal that they scored, I was like, this team looks shot of belief and confidence. And usually, the way out of that is you change your manager.
Yeah, your new voice, new idea.
Sadly, that's the reality. That usually you change your manager.
Is that the first time you thought
But,
maybe Slot? It's
the
time to leave
PSV
all
is the
duties?
first time. The first time, definitely, it was. And I think that's fair. And I think that was...
I think I was the same, wasn't I, Abby, that night? It was the first
of
time
a
I was
lot
like,
of
this can't carry
people.
on.
Yeah.
And that's understandable because I think what we're doing is we're trying to give him the space, give him the reckon that he's had the
He's
credit.
got to fall on his feet.
But if you look at it from a credit perspective, right, people say, oh, he's got credit in the bank. Well, he's just gone and bought a pair of Louis Vuitton shoes and a Gucci coat with all of this credit in the bank because he's just spending it now like it's going out of fashion. You know, you've got a little bit of give and you've got a little bit of grace, but now it's getting to an...
I'm hearing your voice, you're dejected.
You know, it's a difficult, you know, it's a very difficult period, of course.
It's gone beyond that, Ryan, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, look, to be fair, City had lost 9-11 last year. You know, and they've eventually
top four.
turned the corner and still came top four. And if you look at it on the balance of play tonight, I was looking at it there, you know, if we won this game, it looks very unlikely now, to be honest with you, but if we won that game, I think we'd be level with Chelsea in fourth. You know, so if you look at it from a table perspective, it's not irretrievable. Champions League football we're talking about. You know, I don't think the board would be thinking about challenging for the title this year. They would have been initially, but not now. So if they look at it from a Champions League perspective, you know, it's not irretrievable. So you can give this manager time to bed in his ideas. But, you know, we're talking about Salah before the game. Salah comes on a half-time for Gakpo. So it's like, right, okay, so Salah's on now. So what are you landing on? What's your favourite team? Who do you want to get the best out of? Who's the play going through? Because it looks like you've got no idea. It looks like you're experimenting with this player, that player, trying that
He
thing,
probably is in
trying
that territory because everything else he's tried prior isn't happening.
And you know, the reality is as well, you know, this could be signs of his inexperience as well. You know, that he's won a league obviously in Holland, but in terms of, you know, has he really gone through so much adversity and at this stakes and managing these
Maybe
really high profile big personalities? So, you know, ultimately, I'll be really honest with you, I think they've got smart people at that club, and I trust the board to explicitly, really, to be honest with you, to make the right call.
So when does that call come? If it looks like, Slot, that's the only thing we have to do. We need to get rid of you now.
It all depends on what they're willing to sacrifice this year and if they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, he's obviously qualifying this for, you know, in some way or another to Richard Hughes. He's obviously saying, this is where I think it's this is what we need to do. If we get, you know, if it was a player, for instance, you'd be like, well, as soon as you get that person back, he's going to click, and you know,
the whole shebang.
Exactly. There's so many mini problems that right now the management must be looking at it and thinking,
Hit it, Verts! Yeah! What a finish! Florian Verts scores in front of the Kop.
He needed that.
And this is a really, really, really good goal. Really, really good quick feet. He finds space for himself. Left foot to finish in front of the Kop. Florian Wirtz scores for Liverpool in the Premier League. And Ryan, it's been a goal like this has been coming for it. I'm really happy for him.
Goal makes a massive difference. The goal makes a massive difference as well in terms of the perception of the player. And the reality is, look, you know, the good thing is from a Liverpool perspective, it looks like they're fighting for slots. You know, they've not. That's what the PSV game concerned me the most. Was like he didn't look like they were fighting for the manager or fighting for the shirt.
Lovely
But Wirtz, brilliant, excellent.
Little
glides
Take
into
nothing away. That's a good finish.
the middle of the
He's
box.
earned his luck.
He's on the penalty spot and then curls it into the corner.
That touch there.
No, I guess a deflection. Yeah, the finish takes a big. No, but he does well to create space for himself.
Yeah, he's
good quick feet. Yeah, and I think he deserved that little bit of luck.
Yeah, he definitely does, and hopefully just gives him the lift.
That's how you make your own luck.
Which is what you need. And now, you know, if you turn it around, fantastic, and you start to see that they've got a bit of bite about them. I think that, you know, if you're looking at what would worry you the most from a Liverpool perspective is, as I said, tactically, I'm still not sure of what the game plan is, and that's always a concern and a worry, and I don't know what that comes down to. And then you got to look at it from a perspective of, you know, key personalities.
Sunderland, this is going to go left.
Key personalities not turning up for you, which is another big thing at the moment. And why is that? And what's the sort of reasons behind that? And then also you got to look at that. Look, you can amplify this as much or as little as you want to, but if you look at the events that happened in the summer, and I know people will say that they should get on with it and deal with it, but they lost a teammate,
a friend,
and I think in terms of the impact that has on a squad, in terms of putting things into context, performances, maybe they're not giving it as much as they did last year. Maybe that's the reality.
Sounds like a cocktail of multiple ingredients.
It does, doesn't it? It's complex. Everyone wants a simple answer. They always want to, that's the thing to put your finger on. He's not very happy anymore, Kevin Phillips, is he?
Honestly.
They're loving Kevin Phillips cameos with this camera.
They've given it to Verts anyway. But, I just... My big concern really is he's trying to rebuild the team. To be fair, under Feyenoord, he won the league, then he came second in this second year. So there's obviously he's had moments in his career where he's not done as well as he would have hoped.
But right, the thing that worried me more than anything,
the slew of results.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Van Dijk there, that's absolutely outstanding from Virgil van Dijk. An amazing ball came in from the right-hand side. It was just stood up to the back post. I thought Big Dan Ballard was going to get his head on it, but Virgil van Dijk did so well to read it and headed it clear.
But then also, now you've got a really interesting complex, because if you draw this game, what's that? Is that a good result? I mean,
no, it's not a good result.
No.
Sunderland
Well, it just could have been worse.
No, but my point is, in terms of stopping the rot, trying to build, I'm just trying to put the case forward from a
in terms of points on the board, it's better 1 point than none.
4 points, you go and beat Leeds, you get 7 points out of 9 for a team that's just lost 9 out of 11. Put a bit of clarity on it. Recognising that we're looking at Champions League form here, not title winning form, because title winning form 7 out of 9 is not going to get you anywhere near it, right? But from a Champions League perspective, you're definitely in with a shout, and as we've seen with the table,
Champions League
you're in
qualification,
more than exactly. So again, they'll look at it from that perspective, and I trust them to make the right call, mate. Ultimately.
Right, can I ask you a question? Obviously, Mohamed Salah's been on second half.
Yeah.
What have you made of his performance?
I don't think I've seen much of him, but the point I would say to you, Abs, is I don't quite know who they've tried to build through. Is it Salah? Is it Verts? Is it Isak? I've not seen much of Isak either. Isak's done as much as Salah has. Ekitike's brought on. Maybe he should have brought... again, when you start asking questions like, why is Ekitike not on a little bit earlier against a side that is a low block, and Ekitike is your Firmino-esque footballer, right? It's the simplest way of explaining it. So if he's got those traits to his arsenal, why don't you do that? Whereas from an Isak perspective, he's a dead-eye striker. When you play the balls into the channel or in behind, that's when he's at his best. You're not going to get that opportunity tonight. So, I know you're trying to play him into form, and they get that. But on 60 or 70, when it's 0-0, no harm done. You've got half an hour left, go and win the game and go and bring on Ekitike. Now he brings on Chiesa for Isak, and he takes him off an 85. So he's got all of these things that he's weighing up, and I get that. And if they're treating it as a transition year, then he is going to take a few more risks where he's going to go, well, I've got to give him a bit more game time. I've got to play him into form. I get all of that. He's putting Kirkes on now, a left back, and he obviously put Robertson in. But, the reality is, he put Jones on at right back and took Gomez on 60. He's not afraid of making big calls, but he's unbalanced the side significantly at times this season because the 1-0 down. Exactly. He's gone so the other way.
But is that because he doesn't know his best 11?
He doesn't.
And that's criminal if he's doing that.
He doesn't. Exactly.
I don't think that's criminal for him to not know his best 11 when he's had the changes that he's had. You forget
from now till December? Obviously,
I think things take time, and I think when you brought in that many players, I don't think he does have to know it. To be honest with you, at this point, I mean, should they have lost 9 out of 12? No,
you've got to know your.
But I don't think he's figured it out. There's been so many moving parts and changes.
No, you're not wrong.
Also, the one area that actually hadn't changed at all was your midfield, which arguably has also been one of the areas that Barca
needed a 6
has been really underperforming, really underwhelming from the area that.
Yeah, but then you could argue that midfield's been chopped and changed this year, Abs, because Soberslai's played at right back and he's played at right wing. So you've destabilised that 3-man midfield, and he's gone to a 4-2-3-1. So
do you now probably feel even more? I know it's not something you'd like to admit because of Trent leaving.
Yeah.
But can you now probably see just even more how important Trent was, so valuable to Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of giving us another weapon and an option,
And
definitely.
also
But
the relationship with Salah.
You can't replace that player like
you've
for
lost that
like.
right-hand
And the
side, you've
reality
lost the
is they've
creativity.
replaced him through Wirtz, haven't they? You know, and you said to me in the summer you brought in Wirtz for Trent. Everyone shakes your hand and goes, "Yeah,
Hit it!
terrific player."
Oh!
Of course he do, you know, and obviously he's struggled, but now he's starting to see a little bit more game by game. He's going into the game and he's becoming more of the man on the team. And this is the thing, right? You know, you have to build that. In my sense, you have to build it around Wirtz or Isak. But there's got to be clear identity to how Liverpool play, and there really is no clear identity at the moment. And I feel like, you know, the manager's making tough calls now, but as you said, he maybe could have made those earlier in the piece. He's making calls, as I said. I know, you know, we're not getting back into that piece about Salah, but you know, if you look at it from trying to be aligned with the boardroom, Chancey for Kaiser, then comes back to Jones. If you're looking from it coming back to the boardroom, you know, and seeing that alignment, I would imagine that Salah's in their plans. So again, to build a solution that doesn't involve Salah or doesn't involve some of the players that you've brought in the summer would raise question marks. It's problematic.
It will turn around. I just don't know if Slot will be there to benefit.
That's
from
the point, isn't
Wirtz
it?
is
You
too
know?
good not to work. Isaac will start scoring goals.
We've seen
again.
managers get
But
sacked in
this season might be a wrap.
when they've won the league. And,
Exactly.
well, you know, I think they will make a judgment and assessments of what they've seen and how Slot's tried to handle it. And they will also know as well. The other thing that we don't know is the temperature of the camp. And when I speak to people, I feel like that temperature is pretty low right now. From what I get from the people I'm chatting to.
And what do you mean low?
Yeah, low in what
You know,
sense?
just in terms of the atmosphere,
Morale.
the mood,
Morale.
yeah, morale,
Yeah,
right?
but that's natural when you lose 9 or 12, right?
It is, but it's not just the. My point is, there's much. There's the.
Is that what the
Several
manager you mean?
ingredients.
Then there's several ingredients, right? Several ingredients that sit around that particular point.
Oh, that is a handball.
So
Handball?
That looked like a handball.
Oh.
In fact, I never saw it.
they'll check that on.
Appealing for a handball
Yeah.
with Liverpool in front of the cop, but referee's given a
Oh,
corner.
he's
I think that
Gonna
was.
say wait.
gonna check.
Oh, handball. That comes off his
Oh,
arm.
come on, no, that's hard.
That comes off
Does it?
the number 6.
the difference
Look
between
at
that
the
and
number
Ballon.
6 is left arm. Left arm? That hates his left arm.
Nah,
That's a
you're
penalty.
reaching.
Yeah, but he's not even looking. at it.
No,
That's
no,
hard.
come
I think
on,
his
man.
left
What
arm
you-
goes
don't think
up.
you're giving it.
Reaching,
That's
reaching.
hard.
He's not giving it.
Desperation.
Yeah.
Van Dijk!
Oh.
Salah!
Salah.
Oh.
And I also think, you know, as
He
well,
almost killed himself.
we talk about Van Dijk giving away that goal there, and it gets heightened in moments like this, and he should stand stronger in moments like this. And I totally agree with you on this. But let's not rewrite the history books. There's games I've seen of Liverpool where, you know, they're complacent, they're 1-0 down, and they back themselves in the final 20 to pull themselves
know
out of
for
the
that.
hole. I've seen, look at that chance there from Salah. Like in years gone by, I've seen him bury that. I've seen, you know, Jones pop up and score. I've seen other people, you know, play their part and turn it around.
Just that thing in football. If your form was
Exactly.
out of this world, you scored them.
And the
but
reality
you're
is,
not, so
they were
that
doing
happens.
it. They were doing it earlier in the season, weren't they?
I think also if your luck's in, your luck's in. Like
Exactly.
those first 5 performances at the beginning of the season, you were getting away with it.
Yeah,
You absolutely were, and you got the luck there to put you in this position where you're
Absolutely.
still not too far away.
Yeah,
But at
absolutely.
the minute, nothing's going for you. Even that shot there, it's come off Chiesa's shoulder or it's come off his back. You know, things like that usually don't go against you.
Well, but the big thing from you know, if you look at it, if we want to dissect those first 5 games of the season, the reason why I didn't have any particular concerns at the start was, well, I think you've got a side that he's trying to transition to a new style of play. It felt to me that he was going to go, do you know what, back us that we've got enough qualities to get over the line in games, and I'll sort the defence out to, you know, later in this
And I think
piece.
Can't afford to do that. in
No,
today's
but I
day
felt
and
like
age.
that's what he was trying to do. You know, PSG did it, I think, from that
It's more
that
the
piece
defensive
between
ethos than necessarily
December and
the
Jan,
personnel.
and
The
went on to be
personnel, yeah.
wherever. But I just don't see, and maybe
too many gaps.
Slot's a visionary, and he's got this whole master plan, and he's sold to the board, and
Gonna need
they
to
know
find
exactly what he's doing. But I just don't see how this team comes from where it's at now to a team that's gonna be like that PSG of last year, where all of a sudden it clicks. And because I hate this,
He might
people
just
keep
not
saying
be the
it
man to do that.
when it clicks. I mean, what does that mean when it clicks? Like, you know, there's so many components that it needs for it to click. It's not just they decide one day, right, we're going to play good football, because they are attempting that in so many different patches. That's why they need the manager, whose job it is to make sure that they've got a clear idea and a clear identity. And right now, that's not clear. And when you back that up with the results that have happened over the last couple of months, you've got to start asking questions. You've got to start asking questions now. As
every week, that question is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it is.
There's 7 minutes of added on time here at Anfield into the 93rd minute. It's still Leeds 3, Chelsea 1 at Ellen Road. There is 6 minutes of time added on there, 5 more still to play. What a massive win that would be for Leeds in their bid to try and avoid relegation this season. That victory does move Leeds out of the bottom three. West Ham go in there.
You know, a goal in the next 5 minutes could shift inside that.
And we're leveling points with Chelsea.
Exactly.
We go up to
and Chelsea.
We go up to 5th in the table.
Heralded in the title.
How fickle the sport that we love is, isn't it?
This is what I'm saying. This and it could easily come from a set piece as well, which is no indication from that they've done something that. I
think Liverpool get second, to be fair.
But they could do, but they couldn't. But the point is, it completely tilts the conversation on its head, doesn't it?
That's poor.
100%. It's like us versus Chelsea on the weekend. Had either Timber or Gyökeres scores, I'm sat in here saying...
They're 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper.
Come on, Sunderland, please.
Oh,
no.
Oh, well done, Chiesa.
Chiesa on the line.
Chiesa, well done.
And you know what? That's another thing as well that I think has been a criticism that's been levelled at Liverpool, is that, is there enough players doing that? Chiesa is a great example of someone
Busting
who does
his
that.
lungs to get back.
And Arsenal have done that. There's so many countless examples, can't we, give of Arsenal where they've done that this season. And I always felt like, there's subtle things as well that teams.
They've done it against Spurs.
Yeah,
I know he scored a hat trick, and that's going to be the one. But that's what impressed me. No, it weren't what impressed me.
Exactly. So and that's not just a goal saving shot. That could get you to 3 points. That.
Yeah, it was Isidore that went through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He took it round Alisson, but Chiesa did well to get back in and cleared the ball off the line. Kirkes ball into the box. Sunderland win the first header, and that's calm to head that ball back.
You mentioned
to the goalkeeper.
Arsenal, and you look at where Liverpool are. I'm not saying it's the same kind of thing, but you lot have got Rio and Goma. I remember when Arsenal was sneaking up the gaff, you could just sometimes, them young players can be positively naive and kind of save you, and they show a bit of what the fans want, and they get fans behind you. Do you think he should get minutes?
The only thing I'd point though is that I wouldn't, because he's not going to be started, is he? That's what I'm saying.
No, just you put your hat on him for 3 games, 2 games.
No, but
fair enough.
The challenge you've got is you've already got. He doesn't know his forward line as it is, so he's still experimenting. He needs to get Wirtz, and his priority is not to get.
No, obviously, when you look at that kind
of priority is to get Wirtz playing, is to get the best out of Salah as top earner, and to get the best out of Isak. That's his priorities. Ultimately, if you look at it from a really clinical perspective, that's what I'm sure he's been told to do at the start of the.
Well, he spent big money. You got to justify.
Exactly. And his job is not just. Here is where you say, oh well, he's got to change it because he's got to win games, and that's more important. I totally agree with you, but guess what? He's got to do both. He's not just been brought in just to do. Oh well, he win games at whatever cost. He's got to manage and also get the best out of the talent that he's got. That's the job. He's got to do both.
2 minutes left at Anfield. There's 2 minutes left as well at Ellen Road. By the way, that Isidore chance, there was an incredible ball by the goalkeeper, Roofs, and an amazing goal kick, which sent Isidore all the way through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and he's been in good form. He might have fancied himself to do a little bit better there.
I'll call this now, by the way. If Liverpool scored a winner,
it
feels that way.
I feel like they'll go on another spate of last-minute winners.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do.
Just hold it.
Okay, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
If they scored a last-minute winner here, I feel like they will do a repeat of
the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah, I do.
Wirtz has got the ball now for Liverpool. He gives it to Responsibly. Sunderland with 11 men behind the ball. Almost feels like in these sort of positions, just outside the box.
Just go for it.
A little bit short of ideas, but Salah into Wirtz. Salah gets it back. Corner kick.
Yeah, corner. That's what you got to rely on right now in these situations. Not get a ball in. Get many men on.
Kirkes, I suppose I was going to take it.
It's got good delivery, so I've absolutely jinxed this now. He's
not going to be the first man, is it?
Come on. Final minute.
Virgil van Dijk header.
Into 96 of 7. Come on.
He's usually so inevitable. But...
Come on. Where's your character, lads?
That is your fault, mate.
Let's just see that.
Absolutely jinx that. My gosh.
Hang on,
Nah.
Corner? No, it's a goal kick.
Yes,
okay. That's game. 1-1.
Yeah.
Is that one step forward, Ryan, on Sunday and taking an immediate step back?
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, obviously, not lose the game. You know, this is the thing, right? It all depends on how you want to judge it. So many people saying, well, if you're losing games, then just don't lose it. Get a draw out of it, then you get a draw out of it, and then you go, well, you should have won the game. You know, so like, you choose whichever narrative you want to spin.
Pick your poison.
I think they're not going to go from losing 9 out of 10 and 9 out of 12 to winning 10 out of 10, are they? Or winning 9 out of 10. They're just not. I can't see that. You know, you need a sudden switch for that to happen. You'd need like someone who'd been injured for a while and was at the heart of your team to come back and make it all work again. So I can't see that. So it's the growing pains and the reality check of us moving and transitioning to another way, really. Not the way, it's, you know, the reality is, it could have been worse.
Full-time at Ellen Road, League One night for Leeds. This is a modern night as well, by the way, for Daniel Farke, because he's under big pressure going into this game this evening. People said that Chelsea at home tonight and Liverpool at home on Sunday were 2 games that Daniel Farke had to get something out of to keep his job, and he got the victory against Chelsea this evening. That finishes 3-1. One more chance for Liverpool. Ball comes into the box. Sunderland win the header once again to Ekitike.
I mean, I don't know why you're still playing. I mean,
yeah, like, ref, what's going on?
Right, this has been talkSPORT Goals. You've been watching talkSPORT's YouTube channel. Full-time at Anfield, Liverpool 1, Sunderland 1. talkSPORT Goals is back on Saturday morning. Up next, it's the Sports Bar.